Douluo Dalu. Life or Death Pact. It begins with a forced kiss to Qian Renxue. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyright or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 426. The 8th Test of the Dragon God, 4 ways to become stronger in 5 years. Just a first level god has such a strong power. The God King dare not imagine how powerful it'll be. Bai Dong looked worried. To be honest, she felt that Chu Ye would definitely lose and had no confidence. At present, it is less than 10%. Chu Ye replied in a deep voice. Less than 10%? It's over, master, you were dead this time. The treasure hunting beast looked uncomfortable. I'm talking about now, not 5 years later. We don't have no chance to defeat the god of destruction within 5 years. Chu Ye's eyes were firm. Although the pressure in his heart was already extremely huge, he must have the determination to win now. If he doesn't believe in himself, can he make it to the end? How can he succeed? There are still 5 years to fight the god of destruction, and 3 years to face the 7 original Sin gods. During this time, we can still become stronger, but no matter what, I will first defeat those hypocritical gods. Chu Ye's eyes ignited a strong desire to fight. What happened next would be dealt with later. Now he wanted to defeat all those 2nd level and 3rd level gods, knock them down one by one, overthrow this world of gods, and overthrow this sky. Let's go to the duel field. Chu Ye took the lead. Okay. Everyone got acquainted and followed Chu Ye. The power that Chu Ye can exert now, plus the skills of the external soul-bone dragon god wins, the power of the dragon god, and the power sharing, plus his latest exclusive artifact, the dragon god sword, is already equivalent to the combat power of a 1st level god. It is more than enough to defeat the group of unconvinced 2nd level and 3rd level gods. This 1st level is not difficult for Chu Ye at all. The difficult part is that he will have to face the 7 original Sin gods later, as well as the God King who stands at the peak of power, the god of destruction. But the moment Chu Ye agreed to this battle, he had already envisioned the next growth and cultivation route, how to make himself stronger quickly. First, enter the dragon tomb to continue to bury the dragon, and continue to force the body of the dragon god through the dragon energy and dragon energy. Chu Ye's body is very strong now, but he has not yet truly cultivated the body of the dragon god. However, as long as all the remaining dragon bones are buried, through the increase of their power, he should be able to achieve the body of the dragon god. At the time, Chu Ye's combat effectiveness will be enhanced again. Second, let the snowman continue to comprehend and quickly master the power of the angel god. In 5 years, even if Qian Renxue cannot completely master the power of the gods, as long as he can truly exert the combat power of the 1st level god, it will be enough to make Chu Ye's strength increase a lot. Third, rescue the Golden Dragon King imprisoned in the God Realm, get the power blessing of the Golden Dragon King, activate, awaken the real Dragon God wings, let the Dragon God wings break through 1,000,000 years and reach the God level. Chu Ye's external soul-bone Dragon God wings has now almost reached the cultivation of 990,000 years. But because, in order to break through 1,000,000 years and truly awaken the Dragon God wings, it is necessary to rely on the power blessing of the Silver Dragon King and the Golden Dragon King to awaken and break through 1,000,000 years. As long as the wings of the Dragon God break through 1,000,000 years and truly awaken, Chu Ye's power will also surge. After Chu Ye refined the exclusive artifact Dragon God Sword, he had completed the 7th test of the Dragon God. As for the 8th test of the Dragon God, it was related to the Golden Dragon King. The 8th test of the Dragon God's 9 tests, rescue the Golden Dragon King imprisoned in the forbidden land of the gods, devour the power of the Golden Dragon King, awaken the wings of the Dragon God, and let it break through 1,000,000 years. Time limit: 10 years. This is Chu Ye's 8th test of the Dragon God, and it is also the last difficulty, because the 9th test is to merge the position of the Dragon God. But it is not easy to rescue the Golden Dragon King. Let alone whether the 5 great gods will collectively stop it, his current strength alone cannot subdue the Golden Dragon King. This guy also has the combat power of the God King level. Fourth, continue to absorb the God-given soul ring and break through the 100th level of soul power. Chu Ye can feel that this time, he can break through the 100th level 100%, and there is another point. This is the God Realm. There is no limit on the face position. So he has 100% confidence that he can break through the 100 level in this absorption of the God-given soul ring. After completing the 7th test of the Dragon God, he now has a God-given soul ring in his hand. However, Chu Ye does not plan to absorb it now. He must first preserve his strength and cannot make himself appear too strong suddenly, so that the 7 original Sing gods will be on guard. Chu Ye wants the 7 original Sing gods to underestimate, look down on, and despise himself. Let the 7 original Sing gods take it lightly, and then suddenly give a heavy blow. Whether it is a human or a god, people who are despised and looked down upon by themselves often find it particularly difficult to accept after a strong blow, and are more likely to lose their composure and become impulsive. It cannot rely solely on brute force, and attacking the heart is also a key link. If these 4 ways of becoming stronger can all be completed within these 5 years, then in the final battle with the god of destruction, Chu Ye and Qian Renxue will join forces to meet the enemy, and they may not be unable to defeat the old and ancient god of destruction. At this moment, the 5 great god kings, the 17 first-level main gods, including the second-level gods and third-level gods, which numbered more than 1,000, have all arrived at the huge duel arena. The battlefield of this duel arena is a kilometer in radius and is very large. There are indestructible high walls with divine power on all sides of the battlefield. Outside the high walls are layers of steps, which are the spectator seats. Now all the gods have taken their seats on the spectator seats on the 4 sides of the steps and are waiting. Some gods have even started to stretch their muscles and warm up to prepare for the game. The god of war rubbed his fists with a confident look and said, "Hee, everyone, just wait and see how I, the god of war, beat that kid." The god of war, a second-level god, is not the peak combat power among the second-level gods, but he is close to the top and belongs to the high-level combat power among the second-level gods. Among the 216 second-level gods, his combat power can barely rank in the top 10. The god of killing glanced at the god of war and said, "God of war, this kid is my prey. You'd better not snatch it from me. I will go first and trample him hard under my feet." The god of killing's tone was calm, but he was full of murderous intent and viciousness. This made the god of war frown slightly and feel a little daunted. The god of killing, the strongest among the second-level gods. The reason why the god of killing is the strongest is that the god of killing can borrow the power of the god of Shura for a short period of time. This is the strength of the god of killing. Although the god of war is very daunted, he is not afraid. Hee, god of killing, I won't let you go. Hee, god of killing, god of war, why do you two need to take action against a person without a god? A few of us are enough to take him down. Several second-level gods with strength in the middle and lower reaches of the second-level god said with a smile. TSK. The god of killing glanced at the second-level gods with strength in the middle and lower reaches with disdain. Chapter 427. Duel Arena, Battle of Gods. Although the god of killing was conceited and confident, he also knew that he was defeated by Chu Ye just now in the law enforcement hall because he was careless and underestimated the enemy, which made him very embarrassed. But the power that could knock him down Chu Ye should be among the ranks of the second-level gods. These gods with the combat power of the middle and lower levels of the second-level gods may not be Chu Ye's opponents. Why hasn't this kid come yet? Is he afraid to come? Ha. It must be. I think the kid probably regrets it now. He knows that his behavior was impulsive. Now that he has calmed down, he knows that he is afraid. Do you think this kid is hiding somewhere now, trembling, secretly regretting and crying? Ha. I think so. The gods mocked, laughed, and laughed loudly. Some second-level gods mocked here, and there were also a large number of third-level gods present, who also shouted and mocked, making the 7 elemental gods present shake their heads speechlessly. The happier you are laughing now, the more embarrassed you will be in a while. At this time, Chu Ye's voice finally sounded in the duel arena. The gate in the distance opened, and Chu Ye walked in slowly with Qian Renxue, Bai Dong, Yu, and the treasure-hunting beast. Just relying on you, trash. Do you think I am afraid of you? Chu Ye finally appeared and stood in the center of the duel arena. The faces of the gods instantly turned ugly. They were enraged again, with a face full of anger. You kid, dared to be so arrogant, you'll see what happens in a while. I will beat you to death in a while. I will kick you hard and make you kneel on the ground and beg for mercy. That's right. Since you are so worthy of a beating, kid, I will never show mercy. I will beat you half to death in a while, don't blame others. Most of them were second-level gods, and they are excited and angry and roar at Chu Ye. Chu Ye reached out his hand with a look of disapproval, picked out his earwax, and flicked it casually. Okay, stop talking nonsense, hurry up, who will come down first to get beaten? Damn, this kid is too arrogant, I can't stand it. I'm going to go down and kill him. The gods were so angry that they jumped up from their seats. A third level god couldn't stand it anymore, and he was the first to rush down the duel stage. Immediately after him, 10 more third level gods also rushed down. There were 11 third level gods in total, standing in front of Chu Ye. All of them were aggressive. Boy! Fight with me! Fight with me! I came first. The 11 third level gods scrambled to fight Chu Ye first. Those second level gods, on the other hand, were in a state of watching the show. Indeed, if Chu Ye couldn't even beat the third level gods, why would those second level gods take action? At the same time, they also wanted to truly feel Chu Ye's power and let these third level gods try the water first. Looking at the group of level 3 gods in front of him, Chu Ye sneered. Ha ha, you're level 3 gods, don't jump out to join in the fun. I won't show mercy to you, so don't ask for trouble. Let the level 2 gods come. Boy! Don't be too arrogant. Who are you looking down on? No matter how bad we are also gods. The first level 3 god who rushed down roared in frustration. Well, since you insist on seeking death, then you go first. Chu Ye pointed at the first level 3 god who rushed down with a cold face. Everyone, get out of the way, this kid, choose me. Seeing this, the other level 3 gods had to step aside first. Boy, I'm a level 3 god, the giant god of strength. You will fall under the power of my giant god. The giant god of strength was angry, and the next second, a powerful divine power instantly rose from his body. The power of the giant god surged, causing the giant god's body to expand 5 times on the spot, especially the limbs, which became very thick, muscular, and very strong. Just like a muscular giant. Giant god. Hectares, I've never heard of it. Chu Ye mocked. Soon, you will remember me deeply. Giant god. Boy, take my punch. The giant god was completely furious. While roaring, he ran towards Chu Ye like a horror, swung his huge and strong arm, and punched him head on. Hectares. Chu Ye smiled, took a step, and rushed directly towards the giant god. He could feel that the giant god's strong aspect was strength. But Chu Ye wanted to use the opponent's strongest ability to defeat him. Looking for death. How dare you compete with me head on in strength? Then, with this punch, I will knock you down completely. Seeing that Chu Ye was going to confront him head-on, the giant god looked extremely disdainful. Each god has his own unique and outstanding power, ability and specialty. The giant strength god is a god with great power, but is weak in other aspects, such as speed. Under normal circumstances, a third-level god cannot possibly be a match for a second-level god. Even a second-level god can kill a third-level god in a few moves. But if a second-level god insists on fighting, and a third-level god does not play to his strengths and avoid his weaknesses, he will suffer. This kid is too self-righteous. The strength of the giant strength god is at least in the upper middle level among the 1847 third-level gods. His specialty is strength, which is enough to compete with the second-level gods in terms of strength. He actually dared to fight the giant strength god head-on. How foolish. Hectares. He will suffer for it. Seeing this, the gods who were watching laughed at him. However, when Chu Ye's fist collided head-on with the giant strength god's fist, the result was completely beyond the god's expectations. What? This, how is it possible? The whole audience was shocked. Ah! Giant strength god let out an extremely miserable scream. At that moment, the bones of giant strength god's fist shattered on the spot, and the whole arm felt shattered. Blood burst directly out of the flesh and skin, and the arm bones were broken in several places, piercing the flesh and skin. Great strength. Ha ha, your strength is just so-so. Chu Ye sneered, and the next second, he instantly increased his strength. Get out of here. Bang. Boom boom boom. Wei, the powerful god, who had combat power in the upper middle level of the third level gods, was killed instantly by a single punch from Chu Ye. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 428. The whole audience was shocked. Chu Ye challenged 10 level 3 gods alone. Oh, so vulnerable. Chu Ye shook his arms and sneered. At this moment, the whole audience was stunned. The second level and third level gods opened their mouths and eyes wide, staring at the giant god whose arm was broken and knocked down by a punch. It was unbelievable that the giant god could be knocked down like this. The scene was completely silent. After a few seconds, the gods came back to their senses from the shock, and the whole audience instantly boiled. Oh my god. Fuck. Too strong. This guy is too strong. Hercules. He was killed by this guy with one punch in a head-on confrontation. This. Wow. So handsome. Sisters, I really like this dragon god Chu Ye. What should I do? Linga, I advise you not to hit on that boy. He already has a wife and children. You, a third-level god, dare to be the third party. See if the angel god will kill you. Almost all the gods were stunned by Chu Ye's move. They were extremely shocked and surprised. The power displayed by Chu Ye instantly captured the hearts of many female gods. At the same time, the fact that the Hercules was killed by one punch also frightened and terrified most of the third-level gods present. Many of them realized that Chu Ye's power might be far above their third-level gods. The second-level gods also gradually put away their contempt. The 10 level 3 gods who were already stepping down were all extremely timid, fearful, and even terrified. They were no longer vying to be the first to step up like before. Hey! Now, who among you will step up first? Chu Ye looked at the 10 level 3 gods with a cold face. These level 3 gods looked at each other, and for a moment, not a single level 3 god dared to stand up bravely. Hey, weren't you vying to go first just now? Why, are you scared now, you useless bully? Chu Ye taunted, slightly raising his head. His seemingly calm words were actually very arrogant. How about this, I'll give you one chance, 10 of you come together. What? You want to beat 10 of us alone? That's right, come together, you group of third-level gods are too weak, it will waste my time to beat you one by one. How ridiculous. How ridiculous. Chu Ye. You're going too far. We admit that we underestimated you before, but you also looked down on us third-level gods too much. We may not be able to beat you in a one-on-one fight. 10 of us against one of you, I don't believe you can do it. The third-level god shouted excitedly. Okay. Since you asked for it yourself, don't deny it when we knock you down later. Everyone, come together. The 10 third-level gods immediately ignited their boundless fighting spirit and surrounded Chu Ye in an instant. They stood in all directions, each standing in a corner, and surrounded him without any blind spots. 10 divine auras of gods burned from their bodies one after another. Here. Chu Ye stood straight in place and looked around at the 10 third-level gods around him. Basically, they were all in the middle and lower levels of the third-level gods. Only 2 of them gave Chu Ye a feeling that their auras were stronger than the giant god just now. The reason why Chu Ye took the initiative to ask for 1 to fight 10 was to let the remaining third-level gods thoroughly understand that he had the power to beat all the third-level gods. Only in this way would the group of third-level gods retreat when they saw the difficulty and would not all rush up to challenge him. After all, the third-level gods were the largest group of gods in the divine world, and there were at least more than 500 third-level gods who did not obey him. He only had 1 year to defeat all the gods, which was only 1 day in the god realm, 24 hours. Time was still very tight, and it was impossible to defeat every god. Do it. Ha! All 10 level 3 gods rushed towards Chu Ye in the center. Demon Whale King. Snow Queen. Ice Queen, come out. Yes. Master. The Demon Whale King, Snow Queen, Ice Queen, the 3 souls, rushed out of Chu Ye's body in an instant. As Chu Ye became stronger, the strength of his 5 souls was also several times stronger than before. Now the Demon Whale King has a combat power that is infinitely close to that of a level 3 god. Snow Queen and Ice Queen are close to the peak combat power of a priest. The 2 of them can fight a level 3 god together. Ermin barely entered the combat power of a priest, and Shao is close to a priest and is at the peak stage of a demigod. What is this? Seeing the appearance of the 3 souls, the gods were all shocked, and the 10 level 3 gods on the field were also shocked. The Demon Whale roars. The pride of the 2 Ice and Snow Emperors. The Demon Whale King alone blocked a level 3 god, and the Ice Emperor and the Snow Emperor joined forces to release a fusion skill to block another one. Martial Soul Possession. At this moment, Chu Ye finally released his martial soul, but he did not use the strongest sword of gods and demons martial soul, but the second beast martial soul. Roar. The huge 7-colored dragon martial soul appeared on Chu Ye's body. The increase in martial soul possession made Chu Ye's physical strength increase by 1 level again. The 4th soul skill, 7 Dragons Fierce Light. Bang. Boom boom boom. Ah. Chu Ye's terrifying attack directly knocked away 6 people. 2 were trapped by the 3 great souls, and the other 2 rushed to Chu Ye. Chu Ye directly kicked one of them in the chest. Bang. Boom boom. Puff. The man vomited blood and was kicked away by Chu Ye on the spot. There was another person who had already released a powerful killing move. Chu Ye punched him head-on, breaking his power. Then he teleported in front of him, swung his backhand, and hit his face hard with his fist. Bang. Hey. Hey. What are you doing? No. Don't do that. The third level god was extremely terrified. Oh, you will pay the price for being mean, I'll teach you a lesson. Chu Ye had a fierce look on his face. He grabbed the head of the third level god and smashed it hard on the ground. Bang. Chu Ye held the head of the third level god down like this, and it was very cruel and violent. He hit the ground head on. Chapter 429 Defeat all third level gods in one fell swoop. Spray. The heads of two level 3 gods collided with each other and fell to the ground on the spot. Boy. Go to hell. At this time, a level 3 god blasted down from the sky. With you. Get out. Chu Ye soared directly into the sky, and a punch of the terrifying power of the dragon god shattered the opponent's power, and then directly kneed and slammed into the opponent's abdomen. Then he turned perfectly and came to the top, raised his foot, and stomped it hard. Bang. Boom. The body of the level 3 god slammed the ground wildly, and instantly lost the ability to fight. In a short period of time, a level 3 god was knocked down by Chu Ye. Master is too strong. Master is awesome. The treasure hunting beast cheered excitedly. Qian Renxue, bye-bye Dong, Yu, and others also smiled at each other. With the fall of 4 level 3 gods, the remaining 6 were no longer Chu Ye's opponents at all. The situation became one-sided. The 6 level 3 gods were beaten crazily by Chu Ye in the duel field. Bang 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 bang. Screams began to ring out one after another. They were beaten by Chu Ye in the duel field, just like hitting the heart of every god, destroying all dignity and pride. Those who wanted to see Chu Ye die looked extremely ugly. It's over. Chu Ye planned to kill him, and the 100,000-year soul ring under his feet rose up. First soul skill, 7 colored dragon teeth. Roar. 7 dragons of different colors connected to Chu Ye's body flew out of his body, and in an instant, they bit the bodies of 6 third level gods. Puff. The remaining 6 people screamed. They were beaten tightly by the 7 dragons connected to Chu Ye's body and lifted in the air. Everyone was covered with scars and was horrible to look at. They could even be killed on the spot by Chu Ye at any time. Do you accept it or not? Chu Ye ignored them. At this moment, the lives of these 6 people were in his hands. Submit us, we submit. The 6 gods looked terrified. At this moment, they were completely terrified because death was just a matter of Chu Ye's thought. At this moment, they all surrendered and lowered their heads. Chu Ye retracted his strength and threw them to the ground. This kid really defeated 10 level 3 gods by himself. He definitely has the combat power of a level 2 god. All the level 3 gods were panicked. Hey, you guys carry them out, Chu Ye pointed at the fainted level 3 gods. The 6 level 3 gods trembled in their steps and dared not say a word. They lowered their heads, covered in dust, and obediently carried the other fainted level 3 gods out of the duel field. Who else refuses to obey? Next one, continue. Come up. Chu Ye looked at the gods with an imposing manner. At this moment, Chu Ye was completely convinced. All the third level gods, the manic, conceited, and arrogance on their faces, all disappeared. There was only fear, dread, and fear in their eyes, and of course, dissatisfaction. Although these third level gods were afraid, they also hoped that your god would come out to knock Chu Ye down. But they themselves were very afraid. No third level god dared to look directly at Chu Ye. They lowered their heads slightly and avoided his eyes. Hey, where are those people who just yelled that they would make me look bad, beat me to shit, and step on me hard, and make me kneel down and beg for mercy? Why, are you all scared now? Come on. Get up here. Where is your arrogance just now? You group of powerful gods who can only yell, are you now acting like a coward? Chu Ye shouted loudly, mocking. How ridiculous. How ridiculous. The faces of the third level gods turned red after hearing this, and they were extremely frustrated, but they did understand that their third level gods were definitely not Chu Ye's opponents. Going up would just be asking for a fight, which would be embarrassing. I'll fight you. At this time, a crisp female voice sounded, and the next second, a figure with extremely fast speed came to the opposite side of Chu Ye in 2 steps. I'm the 2nd level god of speed, and I want to compete with you. A hot black-haired woman squatted slightly, raised her sexy, pretty, and upright hips, and had already taken a fighting posture. God of Speed. Chu Ye knew that this god position was originally supposed to be passed on to Juju King. It was a very fast god position, almost the fastest among all second-level gods. Looking at the god of speed in front of him, Chu Ye not only recalled the woman Juju King, because the two looked quite similar, with the same long black hair, very hot body, and cold personality. As for the woman Juju King, she disappeared a long time ago. Chu Ye didn't know where Juju King was now, or whether she was dead or alive. Then come on. Facing a second-level god, it was no longer possible to beat him casually like a third-level god. Chu Ye finally released his god and demon sword martial soul and the colorful dragon martial soul. The two martial souls were released at the same time, and his mental power instantly covered the entire duel field, including all the spectator seats. Facing such a fast opponent, you must focus, concentrate, and release your mental power to fight. The role of mental power is to bring the five senses, and insight to the extreme. Under Chu Ye's God King level mental power, any slight movement at the scene, or the subtle expression on the face of every god at the scene, every move, can be perfectly captured. Under this terrifying mental power, the advantage of speed will become no advantage. It can be said that it can restrain speed-type strongmen. All the gods felt the coverage of Chu Ye's mental power, and were extremely shocked and surprised. Even the 5 great god kings felt a little surprised. Chapter 430 Chu Ye vs. Level 2 God, the god of speed. Sure, a god thought inwardly, has this kid's mental power reached this level? Chu Ye's battle so far was not enough to surprise Sure God, but his current mental power surprised him. God of speed, you should just show your strongest state and fight me. Chu Ye reminded him. Okay. The god of speed also listened to the advice and nodded seriously. Then he released his own divine armor and directly opened the god-level domain. Speed God domain. In an instant, the power of the god-level domain covered the entire battlefield. This domain can increase the speed of the god of speed to the extreme. Rest. The god of speed disappeared from the spot in an instant, so fast that it could no longer be captured by the naked eye. Very fast, but still out of my control. Chu Ye's eyes kept moving, and his mental power could feel the god of speed running around quickly. The opponent was looking for a perfect opportunity to attack, and at the same time, he was also putting pressure on Chu Ye's heart. If you can't see the opponent clearly, you can't see where the opponent is, where he will attack, and when he will attack. In this case, the heart of the person waiting to be attacked will become more and more nervous, anxious, and even lose his calm. The god of speed didn't attack immediately, but ran around to affect Chu Ye psychologically. But Chu Ye was extremely calm, because she could catch the movement of the god of speed. Here, the realm of gods and demons. Chu Ye also released the power of his own domain, and the aura of the domain of light and darkness also spread out. Dark letter. I'm the night. Chu Ye directly entered the dark letter form, because in the dark letter form, his reaction speed and movement speed would be faster. But it was also at this time that the god of speed finally took action, and she came from behind Chu Ye in an instant. Just when the god of speed was about to stab Chu Ye's back with a claw, Chu Ye turned around instantly and swung a sword. Bang. Boom. Chu Ye blocked the attack of the god of speed and repelled it in one fell swoop. He can actually keep up with my speed when I open the domain. The face of the god of speed was extremely solemn. At that moment, he moved quickly again. The god of speed was basically serious from the beginning, so this was her fastest speed. I don't believe you can stop me for the second time, the third time. Swoosh. The figure of the god of speed began to flash rapidly, and launched a continuous attack. The speed of the continuous attack was getting faster and faster, and more fierce. Bang 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 bang. Up and down, left and right, east and west, every angle, every range, the god of speed almost tried to attack once, but every time she attacked, she was blocked or avoided by Chu Ye. Damn it. How could this happen? Even a first-level god in this situation can't guarantee that he can avoid and withstand my attack every time. The god of speed was fighting, and he was getting anxious. Moreover, Chu Ye was always on guard and never took the initiative to attack, as if he was flawless, so that the god of speed could not find any angle to hurt Chu Ye. Unfortunately, although the god of speed in front of us is very fast, it lacks in damage. Feeling that the god of speed had lost his composure a little, Chu Ye raised a few imperceptible smiles at the corners of his mouth. He deliberately made a move to expose a weak angle to trap the god of speed. The god of speed, who had lost his composure a little, found this weak angle and immediately saw the hope of severely injuring Chu Ye, and there was no time to think. She acted without thinking, and she had to seize this opportunity. The god of speed began to act impulsively. I've got the chance, this blow will definitely hurt you. The god of speed killed instantly. But at this time, Chu Ye's body was suddenly covered with a layer of armor, which was Chu Ye's soul bone suit with a total cultivation of 2 million years. No. I've fallen into the trap. Seeing the appearance of Chu Ye's soul bone suit, the god of speed had already had a bad premonition, but she could no longer stop. With a powerful attack of divine skills, Chu Ye's soul bone suit was abruptly hit, and at that moment, Chu Ye suddenly switched to the light letter form. Guangxin. I'm the sun. Lightwing slash. Puff. Ah. The god of speed screamed in pain. He was slashed into the sky by 3 powerful and overbearing light blades, and then fell directly to the ground. The winner has been decided, the god of speed will stop here. Chu Ye, don't really want to hit a woman. Chu Ye retracted his strength and ignored the hot woman in front of him. This blow hurt the god of speed badly, but it was far from the point of being unable to fight, but it was enough to affect the entire battle situation. She covered her chest and stood up slowly, her face grim. Did you deliberately expose your weakness just now? Yes, you are very fast, especially when the field starts. Although I can defend and avoid your attack, this is almost my limit. So it is difficult for me to counterattack you in this situation, unless I expose more cards. If I don't deliberately expose my weaknesses to lure you into the trap, how can I hurt you so easily? And you keep attacking, but you can't hurt me at all. You will become anxious, and you can't keep your best calm attitude. So I conclude that you will definitely seize the weakness I exposed, because this is a rare opportunity for you to see how to hurt me. Chu Ye's voice fell, and the god of speed was also convinced. She sighed. I thought you were an impulsive and impatient person, but I didn't expect, I still underestimated you. I give up. The god of speed shouted, and then went back to the viewing platform. She had seen Chu Ye in the law enforcement hall, including the dual field, confronting the gods in various ways, and she could still think that Chu Ye was not a very calm person. But it was not until after the battle that she realized how calm Chu Ye was. Not only was he powerful, but he also had fighting qualities, a strong fighting awareness, and a meticulous mind. He was also good at psychological warfare. Such a person was very scary. He made the god of speed feel that he had no weaknesses at all during the battle, at least she couldn't find any weaknesses. You lost already. Hey. Why don't you keep fighting, god of speed? You were just injured, are you admitting defeat already? Even if you can't beat him, at least wear him down and force him to reveal more cards. Those third-level gods who didn't dare to go up but wanted to see Chu Ye being knocked down, embarrassed, and miserable said with an unwilling look on their faces. The god of speed was speechless and glanced coldly. Don't you think you're disgusting, guys? Chapter 431 If your fist draws blood, so does my sword. So many gods are fighting a level 99 mortal, and they have to fight in a round-robin battle, and they have to take turns to consume him and dig out his cards? You're really ridiculous. The god of speed is a woman after all. If a woman gets serious, sometimes she is really merciless. She sneered. Losing is losing, and being unable to beat is being unable to beat. I, the god of speed, will not go along with you guys and do such a shameful thing. If you want to see him fail so much, then go and fight him yourself. Consume him. Humph. The god of speed responded mercilessly. God of speed, you. This immediately made these third-level gods feel very embarrassed, their faces flushed, and they were very angry inside. But after all, she was a second-level god, gritted her teeth, and finally endured it, snorted coldly, and shut her mouth. Next. Chu Ye shouted loudly. HMPH. Dragon God successor, stop being so arrogant. I'm here to meet you. At this time, another second-level god stood up, with a domineering face. I'm the god of war. It's the god of war. The god of war is on the stage. Great. The scene suddenly rang with a burst of excited cheers. Among all the second-level gods, the god of war is also ranked in the top 30 inches terms of combat power, and belongs to the high-level combat power of the second-level gods. The god of war is on the stage. This kid should be defeated. Come on. God of war. Crush him. All the gods began to cheer. Boy, once my fist hits, it will draw blood, and you are too arrogant. Today I must put an end to your arrogance. the god of war said proudly. Oh? Really? Then let me see if you, the god of war, have this ability. Chu Ye smiled faintly, and the next second, the terrifying aura rose again. In this battle, in addition to the 3 trump cards, the power of the Dragon God, power sharing, and the Dragon God sword, Chu Ye's amplification effects have been fully activated, and his aura has directly climbed to the high-level combat power equivalent to that of a second-level god. Chu Ye immediately started a fierce battle with the God of War. The God of War is ranked within the top 30 inches combat power among all the second-level gods, so he is naturally a high-level combat power among the second-level gods. For a while, the two sides were in a stalemate and were evenly matched. The fierce fight continued. The two kept fighting and exchanging moves. This was the first time that Chu Ye had seen an evenly matched battle since he challenged the gods. Before, Chu Ye had crushed, killed, and beaten the gods, which made the gods feel aggrieved. Now that they were evenly matched, they finally became ecstatic. They also saw the scene where Chu Ye would be trampled under the feet of the gods. Master Martial God. Go. Killed him. Killed him. Kill the Dragon God's successor and trample him hard under your feet. See if he dares to be arrogant again. But I have to say, this kid is really strong. While excited, the gods also realized the real horror of Chu Ye. A mortal with a soul power of level 99 can actually fight with a martial god who ranks at least in the top 30 among the second-level gods in the god realm for several rounds. Such a terrifying fighting ability is terrifying. It's amazing. Because there is no god in the entire god realm who can fight a high-level second-level god with only mortal power. To be able to do this, perhaps only the sure god in the entire god realm can do it. Such a person, such a powerful force, they were so arrogant before, laughing and mocking Chu Ye, which immediately made some gods feel that their behavior just now was like a group of clowns, very shameful and humiliating. They were a bunch of weaklings, actually going to mock a strong man. There was no doubt that Chu Ye had already conquered most of the second-level and third-level gods in terms of strength and ability, but they definitely didn't want to see Chu Ye's final smile. Everyone wished that the God of War could beat Chu Ye to death. Unfortunately, reality is sometimes not as one wishes. The more one wants to see something, the less likely it will happen. After Chu Ye and the God of War had fought fiercely for half an hour, Chu Ye used the second style of the God and Demon Sword technique, the God and Demon God Killing Slash, to slash at the God of War in mid-air with absolutely terrifying power. He directly shattered the God of War's second-level divine outfit on the spot, and slashed the God of War's chest with a sword. Puff. Ah! The God of War screamed. This sword severely injured the God of War on the spot. You want to extinguish my arrogance? You are not qualified enough. You said your fist must draw blood, so my sword is the same. Chu Ye instantly soared into the sky, and a red soul ring appeared under his feet. 6th soul skill, God and Demon 8-segment slash. Bang. Boom. Ah. This kid. The face of the God of War was extremely ugly and painful. He was hit by Chu Ye's first segment and flew to a higher altitude again, and was hit more than 500 meters in the air. You. Go and lie down obediently. God of War. Chu Ye roared. Bang. 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 Chu Ye rushed to the sky, more than 500 meters above, and slashed the God of War crazily in front of all the gods, slashing the God of War from the sky to the ground. He chopped 8 sections in a row. The last 8th section directly knocked the God of War to the ground in an instant, and his body slammed and hit the ground violently. Bang. A loud noise. Accompanied by the extremely miserable screams of the Spirit of War. After these 8 sections, the martial god's ribs were broken, and he was completely seriously injured and lost the strength to fight. He was covered in blood. The winner was decided. Chu Ye defeated a second-level god again, and his combat power ranked in the top 30 among all second-level gods. Chu Ye's body also fell to the ground, panting slightly. After several battles, Chu Ye's soul power and internal state were almost close to the limit. Chu Ye's performance shocked the gods again, making those gods who wanted to see Chu Ye unacceptable and furious. Damn it. Damn it. Why is this kid so strong? Even the martial god is not his opponent. How is this possible? This is impossible. That's the martial god, who ranks in the top 30 among the second-level gods in combat power. This finally made them a little worried and afraid that Chu Ye would really be able to defeat all of them, the second-level gods and the third-level gods. If they had known it before the beginning, it would be impossible for them to do it. But now, they began to doubt it. But it was just a doubt. At this time, the seriously injured and embarrassed god of war stood up from the ground with great difficulty. He looked at Chu Ye, and an excited smile appeared on his pale and weak face. He sneered and said, "Hey, kid, don't be complacent, okay? Chapter 432. You don't really think that this is my limit, do you? Although you defeated me, this battle also allowed us to understand your strength. If I'm not mistaken, this battle between you and me has already made you put all your strength into it, right?" Hilly. The god of war sneered. Chu Ye did not answer, but just looked at him indifferently. Chu Ye's silence made the god of war mistakenly believe that his guess was right. With an expression that saw through everything, he suddenly laughed triumphantly. "Ha ha. Ha 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 ha. It seems that I guessed right, ha ha ha." After laughing, the face of the god of war became ferocious again. "You have tried your best to fight me. In the next battle, you'll definitely lose. You can't defeat all the second-level gods. Because, I'm only the top 30 inches the combat power ranking among the second-level gods. Above me, there are second-level gods who are much more powerful than me. Even among them, some are enough to compete with the first-level gods. With your strength, you can't win in the end. The dragon god can't appear. You'll definitely die, soul beast. Don't even think about having the opportunity to become a god again." Ha 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 ha. Chu Ye looked at the god of war, who was laughing wildly as if he was looking at a fool. In fact, the god of war's guess was not wrong. If Chu Ye did not use the power of the dragon god, did not share power, and did not use artifacts, this was indeed the limit of his combat power. Chu Ye, who had been silent and looked at the god of war indifferently, shook his head and suddenly smiled slightly. Hilly. The god of war's eyes suddenly changed, and he asked with concern, "You? What are you laughing at?" Chu Ye said with an extremely sarcastic and mocking face, "You don't really think that this is my limit?" This sentence instantly made the smile on the god of war's face disappear. His expression was stiff and a little broken, as if he was crazy. "Can you be stronger?" "Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. I can clearly feel that in the battle just now. You have already tried your best to defeat me. This is your limit. I don't believe it." "Oh? Really? Then you just watch carefully. Watch me knock you all down one by one. Watch me smash every god who opposes me. Watch me trample all of you gods under my feet." Chu Ye shrugged indifferently, with a faint smile on his lips. After saying this, he turned around and left. "You are being stubborn. You are just being stubborn." Looking at Chu Ye's back, the god of war roared wildly, but Chu Ye ignored him. For some reason, this suddenly broke the defense of the god of war completely. Chu Ye stopped fighting. After these battles, his condition had declined too much. He had to recover and adjust his condition first. He sat down cross-legged and mobilized his soul power to quickly recover those external injuries and the energy in his body. Chu Ye only had one day, 24 hours. From the beginning to now, 2 hours have passed. He must recover his condition as quickly as possible, and Chu Ye's healing ability is also very strong. Those external injuries are recovering at a speed visible to the naked eye. The soul power also began to recover rapidly. Because the energy at the god realm is too thick, he can recover to 100% in less than an hour. During this process, the god of killing found some second-level gods, and I don't know what they were whispering. Soon, this group of second-level gods and the god of killing got the same idea, and several sinister smiles appeared on their faces. Soon, nearly an hour later, Chu Ye, who was sitting cross-legged to recover, finally opened his eyes and stood up slowly. At this time, there were still 21 hours left for Chu Ye to defeat all the second-level gods and third-level gods. He locked his eyes with the gods again. Who else is not convinced? Keep going. Chu Ye naturally knew that there were many second-level gods stronger than the god of war, and he also knew that among these second-level gods, the most powerful one was probably the god of killing. This god of killing should be the biggest obstacle among the third-level gods and second-level gods at the moment. But all the second-level gods present could not stop him. In Chu Ye's heart, his real opponents were the 7 original Sing gods behind him, and the god of destruction. At this moment, the god of killing glanced at several second-level gods not far away. Feeling the gaze of the god of killing, the second-level gods nodded, and soon, a second-level god stood up and jumped onto the duel stage in one fell swoop. "I'll fight you." Chu Ye glanced at him and shook his head. "Your strength should only be in the middle and lower reaches among the second-level gods, right? Even the god of war is not my opponent. Do you think you can defeat me?" His mental power can roughly sense the breadth and strength of these second-level and third-level gods. The one in front of him is obviously much weaker than the god of war. How do you know if you don't try it? I will definitely lose to you. The other party sneered. Okay, then come on. Chu Ye shrugged indifferently. Although it can be seen roughly, it is not impossible that there is some kind of power that can enhance strength, such as Chu Ye's dragon god power. So Chu Ye released the sword of gods and demons again and started a fierce battle with him. This second level god was basically suppressed and beaten by Chu Ye. From the beginning, he fell into an absolute disadvantage, and his advantage became bigger and bigger. In less than half an hour, he was knocked to the ground by Chu Ye. Bang! Boom boom boom. This second level god is really weak and has no powerful trump card, which not only made Chu Ye frown. Next one. HMPH. I'll do it. As the previous god was defeated, another second level god jumped out immediately. He was also a god of the middle and lower combat power among the second level gods. Seeing this, Chu Ye's face was a little ugly. You are weaker than the previous one, right? Is there any point in coming here to fight? Here, looking for a fight? It's not clear who will fight whom. My power is indeed not stronger than theirs, but the power of each god is different. My strength may be just right for you. The other party said seriously, his mouth was very hard. Come on. Chu Ye didn't want to say anything more. He had roughly guessed the situation in his heart. This group of guys probably wanted to delay time to consume him in turn. Because the time he challenged the gods was limited. If he could not defeat all the unconvinced gods within 24 hours, he would also be considered a failure. As expected, this second level god also lasted less than half an hour before being knocked down by Chu Ye's terrifying sword. Next one. The 8th soul skill, the god and demon Great Cold Snuller's sword. Aga. Puff. Argh. Another level 2 god fell. As Chu Ye defeated 3 level 2 gods in a row, he was 100% sure. Chapter 433 Chu Ye was defeated by the level 2 gods, the Peak of Sword Intent, the god of sword. Chu Ye understood it thoroughly. These guys just wanted to delay time, take turns to exhaust themselves, or perhaps they wanted to dig out more of Chu Ye's cards, understand his abilities, and fighting style. They knew they couldn't beat Chu Ye, but they still rushed up to fight. It seems that the second level gods want to fight me in turns. Ha, good. I, Chu Ye, will accompany you to the end. Go on, next one. Chu Ye sneered. He thought that he had defeated the martial gods who ranked at least in the top 30 among the second level gods, so the second level gods who knew that their strength was not squeezed in the middle and lower reaches would retreat. But Chu Ye was naive after all, and underestimated the shamelessness of these gods. So many gods fighting a mortal is a matter of bullying the minority with the majority, which is not a glorious thing. Since they are going to do such a shameless thing now, Chu Ye can only be more ruthless. Next, it's time for these gods to really see blood. Hey. Are you going to fight me in a round-robin battle? Don't talk nonsense. We just don't accept your advice. If you want us to accept your advice, you have to defeat us with your own hands. That's right. How do you know that I will lose to you if we don't fight? The gods refused to admit it and kept talking tough. Next, I will meet you. At this time, a man holding a long sword soared into the air and appeared domineeringly. Bang. I'm the second level sword god. Boy, swords have no eyes, so you better be careful. The sword god was imposing, domineering and arrogant. He licked his tongue around his mouth, looking like a cannibal. Sword god. Oh, come on. A hint of murderous intent flashed in Chu Ye's eyes. Come on. The sword god sneered in his heart. Humph, boy, even if I can't beat you, so what? We will attack one by one, and you only have 24 hours. Even if we all can't beat you, I'm afraid you won't have enough time. Hehe. The sword god laughed triumphantly in his heart, but he didn't realize that Chu Ye had already had the intention to kill him. These gods, as long as they move their lips, go up, and fight, even if they can't beat them, at most they will be beaten up and seriously injured, and they will recover after a while. The cost is too low, and it is possible to drag Chu Ye to death without paying much. But what if the price is death? Chu Ye wants to see if these gods still have the courage to challenge him. Come on, boy. Look at my sword intent. The sword god held a long sword with a quality close to the artifact level, and his whole body exuded a sword artistic conception. In addition to the difference in the power of the gods, the difference between the second level gods and the first level gods is the difference between the divine clothes and the artifacts. Each god has his own divine equipment, which is integrated with the power of the gods. Therefore, The divine equipment of the first level gods is much stronger than that of the second level gods. From the divine equipment, the gap between the second level gods and the second level gods has been opened again. And the artifact. It is the standard of the first level gods. Every first level god has a divine weapon that belongs to the gods, but the second level gods do not have divine weapons. Only a few second level gods have the possibility of possessing divine weapons. Most of them are like the sword god, who only has a weapon close to the god level, or they don't use weapons at all. This is also one of the differences between the power of the second level gods and the first level gods. At this moment, the artistic conception emanating from the sword god is a realm of using a sword. Just like the sword, there is sword intention, then there will be sword intention, and even gun intention, etc. The sword intention of the sword god, like Chu Ye's sword intention, has reached the peak realm. Chu Ye is in the realm of unity of man and sword. Sword god, the realm of unity of sword and sword. God and demon sword intention. Chu Ye's face was calm, and the powerful sword intention rose, and the sword in his hand pointed at the sword god. Ha, let's see whether my sword intent is stronger or your sword intent is stronger. The sword god instantly tightened his sword and rushed forward. Okay. As you wish. Chu Ye held the sword of gods and demons in his hand and also rushed forward. One person held a sword. One person held a knife. They rushed to kill each other and swung their sharp blades at the same time. Bang. Boom, boom, boom. The two sides slammed head-on, and the sword and the knife, the sword intent and the knife intent, also collided head-on, and the sword and the knife edge competed and confronted each other. Bang. The next second. Both sides were shot back at the same time, each retreating 10 meters. Then they killed again. Bang, 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 bang. Ding, 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 ding. The sword and the knife began to collide crazily, and Chu Ye and the sword god also launched a fierce melee fight. Between the swords and the shadows, the figures of the two people flashed rapidly, colliding, fighting, and slashing crazily. The swords and knives in their hands seemed to be part of their bodies, and they could be controlled freely like limbs, and seemed to be integrated with their own weapons. Controlled in their hands, there was no trace of superfluous or flawed movements. That's right, both Chu Ye and Dalu had brought their respective types of weapons to their full potential. They each displayed their own exquisite sword and knife skills, and every move and style was extremely coherent and rhythmic. After dozens of rounds of fierce fighting, it was hard to tell who was better. Bang. Boom. The two of them collided with each other again, and at the same time, they were shaken away by 20 meters. It seems that in terms of the realm of understanding each other's weapons, you and I are evenly matched. Dalu had a fanatical look on his face, slowly raised the knife in his hand, which was stained with Chu Ye's blood. Chu Ye also raised the sword of gods and demons, and the blood of Dalu on it slowly fell to the ground along the sword body. It's evenly matched. You're wrong. In the previous battle, you only hit me 13 times, and I hit you 19 times. Chu Ye had a calm face, and the next second, the terrifying domain power spread out. God and demon domain. Secret belief. I'm the knight. Chu Ye directly switched to the dark later form, turned into a demon, and his eyes became extremely cold. And next, you will not be able to use your knife to hurt me again. In the previous battle, the knife god seemed to be fighting normally, but every knife was a fatal blow. If Chu Ye was distracted for a moment, he would probably have his arm cut off in an instant, or even die. Chu Ye originally planned to use the knife god to kill the chicken to scare the monkey, to shock the second level god behind him. Now that he killed the knife god, Chu Ye had no guilt. The knife god didn't realize that he was already a dead man in Chu Ye's eyes, and he was still arrogant. Hey, fart. I can't hurt you again. I want to see how you can do it. Boy. Take my knife again. Aga. The knife god roared, rushed forward crazily, and chopped down fiercely with the knife. Chu Ye took a left step, bent slightly, and avoided the knife god's knife, and at that moment, he instantly drew his sword and stabbed it upward. How is it possible? This kid's reaction speed has suddenly become faster. The knife god's eyes were horrified. The next second. Puff. Chapter 434. This is a murderous look. This guy wants to kill me. He wants to kill me. The entire right arm of the sword god was cut off by Chu Ye's sword on the spot. The arm holding the sword was cut off and flew into the air, and the arm and the sword were separated from the sword god's body. My arm. The sword god was extremely terrified, and he had no time to care about the arm cut off by Chu Ye and the separated sword, and he tried his best to distance himself. Chu Ye swayed his weird body and quickly followed the steps, chasing the sword god. Come back. My sword. The sword god desperately retreated, summoning his own sword, and finally dared to return it to his other hand when Chu Ye attacked him again. He blocked Chu Ye's terrifying sword again, but his body was blown away again. Chu Ye took advantage of this gap and directly launched the Sword of Gods and Demons Martial Soul, the strongest 9-soul skill. Gods and demons destroy the world. I have never seen a move before. Is this move his strongest attack? The sword god was very terrified. The strongest attack Chu Ye had ever used was only the second move of the God and Demon Sword technique. The soul skill of the God and Demon Sword Martial Soul only used the 8th soul skill, so no one had ever seen the God and Demon destruction. And the power of this move was obviously stronger than any move Chu Ye had used before. The sword god did not dare to be careless and immediately used his strongest divine skill to compete with it. Boom boom boom. The two terrifying forces bombarded together. Although the sword god blocked Chu Ye's God and Demon destruction, this attack also consumed a lot of his divine power. In addition, his arm was cut off, and his combat power had dropped significantly. The sword god knew that he could not fight against Chu Ye again. It would not take long before he would be defeated. But Chu Ye's words just now, "Your sword can't hurt me again," made the sword god a little bit crazy. "I don't believe it. I can't hurt you again. Go to hell." The sword god screamed wildly. In any case, he had to cut Chu Ye's sword again, and then find an opportunity to decisively end the fight and step down to replace him. The purpose of the sword god was also very clear. Although he wanted to kill Chu Ye, he knew that he couldn't do it. He just consumed Chu Ye for a while and then switched to a second-level god to continue consuming. But it was precisely because of the idea of hurting Chu Ye with a sword even if he lost that he paid the price of death today. The sword god began to fight back desperately, and he was willing to kill 1,000 enemies and hurt himself 800 times, just to hit Chu Ye with a sword. When his goal was only this approach made him even more vulnerable. Not only could he no longer hit Chu Ye with a sword, but he was slashed by Chu Ye crazily. Puff. 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 Ah. The sword god had completely lost the power to resist without knowing it. He was slashed by Chu Ye crazily for dozens of swords. He screamed continuously, his injuries became more and more serious, and his state became weaker. "I don't believe it, I can't hit you with a sword." The sword god was extremely aggrieved, roaring, and swung a terrifying sword again. God and Demon Phantom Sword. At that moment, Chu Ye transformed into more than a dozen figures, all holding swords in their hands, and swung at the sword god from all directions at the same time. Puff. 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 Ah! The sword god screamed, and Chu Ye slashed him with more than a dozen swords in an instant, and a sword hit him in the chest, instantly knocking him away 100 meters away. Damn it. At this moment, the sword god was covered in blood. He had been slashed by Chu Ye hundreds of swords from head to toe. Almost every part of him was covered with wounds, all sword wounds, and he was completely injured. Although the sword god was very aggrieved and very unwilling, he had no choice. He knew that he could not hurt Chu Ye anymore. He had no ability to continue fighting. There is no other way but to pretend to fall down and pretend that I can't do it anymore. The sword god looked unwilling, and the next second, he started to perform. The sword god immediately knelt on his knees, his face showing an extremely painful, weak expression, as if he was about to die, and he said very weakly, "Damn, is this the limit?" The sword god muttered to himself, and he didn't need to speak loudly on purpose, the gods could actually hear him. Because the gods all had strong hearing, and in order to see the battle and details of it clearly, the gods basically watched the battle with their mental power, so they could generally see through it. The sword god acted thoroughly, as if he was really going to fail and fall down. After all, when these gods went on stage to fight, they all shouted loudly, and it would be very embarrassing if they took the initiative to admit defeat and surrender. The sword god still wanted to save face, so he wanted to truce, either to be completely defeated like the previous gods, or to pretend to fall down to the limit. Usually, Chu Ye would stop fighting after knocking down his opponent, and would not continue to attack the gods who were already unable to resist, so the sword god had to leave in this way. He cursed fiercely in his heart. "Boy, although I can't deal with you, you'll definitely die in the hands of other gods." After cursing in his heart, the sword god was about to start his final performance. "I can't do it anymore." After saying the last line, the sword god was about to let himself fall to the ground, but just when he was about to fall to the ground, he suddenly found that Chu Ye rushed over and his pace suddenly accelerated. It was like a death god was going to take his life. The sword god suddenly realized that at this moment, Chu Ye's eyes were extremely indifferent, cold, and full of murderous intent. That look seemed to be looking at a dead person. That's a murderous look. This kid is going to kill me. At this moment, the sword god was completely terrified. He couldn't pretend anymore. He stood up and dodged at the first time. What are you going to do? Seeing that he had reached his limit and seemed to be unable to do it, the sword god instantly jumped up with full energy, and the gods were all stunned. Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. What's going on? Hasn't the sword god reached his limit? How come he looks so good? Pretending. Damn it, the sword god was just pretending. Fuck. The sword god is too shameless. This is simply defiling us gods. The gods realized that the sword god was just pretending, and they cursed and despised him. Even the god of destruction was speechless and covered his face. What a shame. This time, the sword god was completely humiliated, but now he didn't care about his face at all, but was worried about whether he would die. Puff-ah-ah-ah. The sword god didn't dodge in time, and Chu Ye cut off his legs on the spot. Blood spurted from his thighs, and the sword god was left with only the upper part of his thighs. He knelt straight on the ground. The broken leg was stuck to the ground, which made him painful and miserable, and he screamed. Sorry, I'm a little late because my family is moving today. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 435. Kill the Sword God. Kill the level 2 god's head with one sword. What? Of course I'm going to kill you. Chu Ye's extremely cold voice only rang in the ears of the sword god. The sword god knelt on his knees, extremely frightened, and raised his head in panic, looking at Chu Ye who was standing in front of him, looking down at him, raising his sword, and ignoring him. At this moment, the sword god was completely terrified and scared. No. Don't kill me. Help. Help. Save me. I don't want to die, I don't want to die. I surrender. I surrender. The sword god was completely scared and screamed desperately for mercy and help, but he suddenly found that his voice had been sealed by Chu Ye's power and he couldn't make any sound at all. The sword god was completely desperate. At this moment, he regretted in his heart. Why did he rush out to fight with Chu Ye and rush to die? The main reason was that he didn't expect that Chu Ye would really kill him. Despair and fear of death naturally spread throughout his brain. He wanted to live, he didn't want to, but it was too late to regret. No. Chu Ye's sword slashed towards his neck. No. Stop. Chu Ye. Realizing that Chu Ye intended to kill the god of sword, the god of kindness and the god of life had already made their move 2 seconds before Chu Ye swung his sword. The 2 great god kings instantly rushed from the audience stand to the duel arena. Kindness and life can be said to be the good guys in the god realm. Although the various forms of the god of sword are very unbearable, disgusting, and shameless, it is still a life after all, and has not committed any major crimes. They don't want to see a god killed like this. But Chu Ye's intention to kill the god of sword was decided as early as the moment the god of sword came on the stage. He just wanted to use the god of sword to kill the chicken to scare the monkey, so that the group of second level gods would not dare to come on the stage at will and fight him in turns. Therefore, Chu Ye had planned it long ago, and guessed that there might be gods coming on the stage to stop him from killing the gods, so when Chu Ye was fighting, he always hit the god of sword away from the 5 great god kings. The current position of Chu Ye and the god of sword is basically the farthest distance from the location of the 5 great god kings. In this duel arena with a radius of 1000 meters, Chu Ye's position is almost 2000 meters away from the 5 great gods. Even if the 5 great gods burst out at the fastest speed, it is difficult to stop the killing of gods. At this time, all the gods also noticed it. This kid. He wants to kill the god of sword. Stop it. Boy. How dare you. Here. Chu Ye had a sneer on his face. He didn't hesitate at all. He burst out at the fastest speed in an instant and cut off the head of the god of sword with a sword. No. Puff. The god of sword opened his eyes wide, desperate and unwilling. The next second, blood splattered, and the head of the god of sword fell to the ground. A second-level god of the first generation was killed by a sword and died in Chu Ye's hands. The god of sword fell. At this moment, all the gods were stunned and silent, with horror in their eyes. The scene fell into silence again. It was unbelievable that the god of sword would die and Chu Ye would kill the god of sword like this. The goddess of life and the god of kindness who wanted to rescue also stopped and stood not far behind Chu Ye. You! How dare you kill a god? Those gods who wanted to see Chu Ye die, after coming to their senses in fear, all stood up collectively, and were extremely fierce and angry at Chu Ye, wanting to make a fuss about the death of the god of sword. But Chu Ye directly shouted back, "So what if you kill a god?" Chu Ye's aura shocked all the second-level gods and third-level gods with just one sentence. He ignored the gods and sneered, "Hee, this kind of all-out battle is bound to have casualties. What's more, your god of destruction has specifically emphasized that there is no limit to killing in my battle with the gods. Everyone. What do you think? You and your mother, shut up. If you don't accept it, if you're unhappy, come down and kill me if you have the guts. Don't shout outside the field anymore. Come on. Come down." Chu Ye shouted angrily. "Damn it. Chu Ye, the successor of the dragon god, someone will take care of you for us." The gods were furious, angry, and roaring with frustration, but now they only dared to move their mouths. Go, who dares to really go up? The gods suddenly became much quieter, and the clamoring became weaker and weaker. At this time, the goddess of life and the god of kindness came to the tragically dead god of sword, and sighed in their hearts, "Alas." Then, they looked at Chu Ye. "Young man, you shouldn't kill him, this is really a bit too much." Chu Ye turned around slowly, and also looked at life and kindness. He didn't think he had any problems. "I know that the god of sword is not guilty of death in your eyes, but from my point of view, he should die. If I am not the opponent of the god of sword in this battle, then I will be the one to die, and you will definitely kill me on the battlefield. If I don't kill the god of sword, then these gods who want to see me die will still be unscrupulous and come up to fight me one by one. I killed the god of sword to protect myself. Let me ask you, two gods, do you think I'm going too far? Shouldn't I kill him?" "Oh, that's all." Kindness and life shook their heads and sighed, powerless to say anything. They left the duel field with the body of the god of sword who died tragically. Chu Ye retracted his mind and looked at the gods again. There was no trace of mercy in his eyes, with naked murderous intent. "I advise you all to have some self-knowledge. I know you want to see me die, and even want to kill me with your own hands in the duel field. It doesn't matter. You want to kill me, but I, Chu Ye, may not kill you, and I am not a bloodthirsty person. But from now on, if you don't have any skills, knowing that you can't beat me, but you still come to fight me in a round, and consume me, then I'm sorry, the god of sword will be your next fate." "Did you understand everything?" Chu Ye's voice, word by word, echoed throughout the duel field, and every god's ears were filled with murderous intent. Chu Ye did not want to kill all the gods who opposed him or wanted to see him die, because in fact, he also knew that many of these gods also had good personalities, upright and kind character, and had their own bottom line and principles, such as the god of speed. It's just because of different positions. They don't want to see the dragon god reappear, so that the beast tribe has the opportunity to become a god again, and let the gods in the future have beast gods again. After all, humans are humans, beasts are beasts, and aliens are aliens after all. Many gods have regarded the human race as the highest race. This feeling is like, in the modern world, those pets, dogs, cats and the like. If you insist on putting cats and dogs on an equal footing with humans, naturally there will be people and gods who cannot accept it. Chapter 436 Chu Ye versus the top 10 second-level gods in combat power, God of War. But in fact, in the world of Douluo, the origin of species actually started from beasts. The god realm back then was also ruled by beast gods, but later in the war in the god realm, the dragon god voluntarily was beheaded, and now it is ruled by human gods. In short, this world is about the strong being respected, and whoever is strong is the boss. Another point they are also worried about is that the appearance of the beast god will break the peace of the god realm originally ruled by the human race, and there will be problems, and even a second war between humans, beasts, and the god realm. So in terms of position, Chu Ye did not absolutely disagree. But there will always be a group of people who are particularly hypocritical and selfish, just for their own interests. These things go beyond the position and have great malice towards Chu Ye personally. Then for such gods, Chu Ye can kill them. Who wants to go up? I. At this moment, facing Chu Ye's breath in front of them, facing Chu Ye's naked killing intent and threats, most of the second-level gods finally slowly lowered their heads. One by one, you'll look at me, I look at me, and for a while, no god dared to go on the stage. They were completely afraid and scared. Most of the second level gods were also impressed by Chu Ye's power at this time. As long as they dared to go up, Chu Ye would dare to kill them. No god dared to take their own life as the price. Death. It was not a consequence they dared to bear casually. Poor god of sword. Chu Ye used him as a warning to the gods. The god of fire shook his head and smiled. There were more than a dozen second level gods who were waiting to line up and fight one by one to consume Chu Ye. Now they were also afraid and secretly thanked her. It's a good thing that I didn't go on the field just now, otherwise the person who died would be either god of sword or me, god of sword. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself for your bad luck. At this moment, there were no second level gods who dared to go on the field, and those third level gods didn't dare to say a word. It can be said that there are no third level gods who are qualified to speak now. Chu Ye used god of sword to kill the chicken to scare the monkey, which had a very effective effect. Even some gods who originally thought they had a chance to defeat Chu Ye didn't dare to go up, and were hesitating and didn't dare to take action. Go on. Next one. Chu Ye's voice sounded again. This time, the scene paused for a full minute, and no god stood up. But at this time, finally, another slightly arrogant voice sounded. Hey, hey, hey. Can't you? No one dares to go up now. The eyes of the gods all looked in the direction where the voice came from. The god who spoke was the god of war, who ranked 10th in combat power among the second level gods. Yeah. The god of war sneered and slowly stood up. Since no one dares to go up, then I will do it. The god of killing looked at the god of war who stood up, and smiled in his heart. This was exactly the result that the god of killing wanted to see. The god of killing would definitely go on the field, but the god of killing also knew that the god of war would probably go on the field as well. Originally, the god of killing planned to wait for the second level gods to consume Chu Ye in a round-robin battle, and then go on the field to completely defeat him. But in fact, the top 30 gods of war and combat power among the second level gods were all defeated by Chu Ye. The god of killing actually had doubts. Chu Ye's power might be more than that. With the consumption and beheading of several second level gods of the god of sword, the god of killing felt more and more that Chu Ye might have a trump card and a stronger power. So in the last minute, the god of killing did not stand up, as if he wanted to let the god of war. Finally, let Chu Ye try the water. Although the strength of the god of war is much inferior to that of the god of killing, after all, the god of war is also the best among the second level gods, and his combat power is also approaching the peak of the second level gods. This kind of strength is no longer an ordinary first level god, who can be beaten at will. So in the eyes of the god of killing, the god of war can definitely play all of Chu Ye's trump cards, let him completely master Chu Ye's true power, and then he, the god of killing, will personally end it. And the god of killing also has absolute confidence. Because he is the strongest of the second level gods, standing at the peak of all the second level gods. The position of the second level gods is very deep, and they are all second level gods, and the difference in strength can be very obvious. They can be so weak that they can hardly beat even the third level gods, and they can also be so strong that they can fight with the first level gods. The god of killing is a god who can barely touch and bend the fingers of a first level god. But even though that god of killing has absolute confidence in himself and can kill Chu Ye, he also wants to see Chu Ye's limit, understand Chu Ye better, and then defeat him with absolute force. At this moment, the god of war has come to the duel field and stood in front of Chu Ye. He rubbed his fists and said confidently, "Boy, I have to say that you are indeed capable. But this farce should end. I, the god of war, will personally end you." God of war? Hectares, you are qualified to fight me, but you are not qualified to stop me. Chu Ye shook his head and said seriously, "Let's fight." The god of war should not be underestimated. Chu Ye can feel the breath of the god of war, which is not the same level as all the second level gods who have played before. Even before, the god of war who ranked in the top 30 among the second level gods in terms of combat power was far behind that god of war in front of him. Facing such an opponent, Chu Ye must also take out 100% concentration and fight 100% seriously, and at the same time, it is time to release more power. There are still 18 hours left for Chu Ye to defeat all the second level gods and third level gods, which is absolutely enough time. Because after Chu Ye killed the god of sword, there are not many opponents left. Now he only needs to defeat the last few powerful second level gods, and the first level will be over. Boy, don't hide it anymore, I advise you. Use all your strength to fight me. The god of war sneered, and reminded him with a sharp sword. After speaking, an endless fighting spirit and a terrifying power of the god of war instantly rose from the body of the god of war. Ha! As the god of war continued to roar, the terrifying power continued to rise, getting stronger and stronger, and more terrifying. A set of divine armor exuding powerful divine power has also emerged on his body. That is the god of war's divine armor. Come on, boy, show me all your strength and have a good fight with me. Chu Ye, the successor of the dragon god. The god of war was eager to fight. He planned to have a quick fight with Chu Ye, and use his strongest power to fight directly to decide the winner. Feeling the intention of the god of war, Chu Ye was also very decisive and fired at full power to fight to the end. Although Chu Ye was very strong in protracted battles and endurance combat capabilities, he did not want to drag the battle out too long, and a quick fight was also his idea. Then come on, god of war! Chu Ye shouted, and his aura instantly began to soar terrifyingly. Chapter 437 Secret Faith is the King of Close Combat. Dual Martial Spirits. The true body of gods and demons. The sword of gods and demons. The wings of the dragon god. Chu Ye began to fully unlock his power bit by bit. At this moment, he directly opened a trump card that he had never exposed before. The power of the dragon god. Roar. At this moment, the dragon roar seemed to resound throughout the dual field. Chu Ye directly opened the half-dragon state of the dragon god's power. With the opening of the dragon god's power, Chu Ye's power has climbed to the peak of infinitely close to the second level god at this moment. Soul Bone Suit. Chu Ye's Soul Bone Suit, which is more than 2 million years old in total, also emerged again. His power has now climbed to a state that is almost on par with the god of war, and even faintly suppressed a few points. The god of killing narrowed his eyes slightly. This kid, as expected, he still has a stronger power hidden. This should be his last trump card, right? The god of war had a gloomy and uncomfortable face. He really can be stronger. When fighting with me, it is really not his limit. You kid, you're really surprising. So this is your real power. The god of war was daunted. Before going on the court, he thought he had a 70 to 80% chance of winning. Now, in his opinion, it has reached a 50-50 ratio. And all the gods thought that this must be Chu Ye's limit. But in fact, he still has many trump cards that have not been exposed. For example, the passive effect of the Phoenix, rebirth from the ashes, has not been played yet. Chu Ye shook his head and smiled. Without saying much, he went straight to the god of war and started the battle. The god of war also moved his feet and rushed towards Chu Ye. The two of them instantly confronted each other and started a fierce melee fight. The god of war should be able to win, right? It's hard to say. I feel that this kid is evenly matched with the god of war. It's hard to say who will win or lose. Humph. Even if the god of war loses, it's okay. Don't forget that the strongest among our second-level gods is the god of killing. Hehe, the god of killing hasn't made a move yet. Once the god of killing makes a move, this kid will be completely finished. That's right. The strength of the Lord God of Killing is far superior to that of the god of war. He also has the power to fight against the first-level gods. No matter how strong Chu Ye is, he can't be the opponent of the god of killing. He will definitely lose. The eyes of the gods were all cast on the god of killing not far away. The god of killing was their last resort. With the god of killing in charge, the gods were very relieved and confident. Bang 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 bang. Boom boom boom. In this process, both sides maintained their strongest state and rhythm. Every punch, every sword, every move, every style, carried a very terrifying force. Every move and every style left no room for maneuver, rushing to defeat the opponent. But in such an extreme crazy melee fight, Chu Ye and the god of war's state will decline and consume at a very fast speed. Ha ha ha. It's great, kid, your melee ability is also excellent, do you dare to fight me? The god of war laughed excitedly in the battle. Whatever. Chu Ye responded coldly. If you have guts. God of war domain. The god of war punched wildly, bombarding Chu Ye, and a breath of domain under his feet instantly spread. In the domain state, the god of war's melee combat strength will instantly increase. God of war divine skill. Infinite god of war. At this moment, the god of war's body, strength, and speed have been fully strengthened, and under the effect of the infinite god of war's divine skill, the god of war's combat power will gradually increase and strengthen with melee fighting and frontal confrontation, and then become stronger and stronger. The god of war is almost the strongest second-level god in melee combat through his body, combat ability, combat skills. If he doesn't use his divine skills and only fights in melee combat, even the god of death may not be the opponent of the god of war. No second-level god will choose to fight the god of war in such a high-intensity melee combat, because this is his strong point. But Chu Ye was not afraid at all and still confronted him head-on. The realm of gods and demons. Secret letter. I'm the knight. Chu Ye also entered the strongest state of melee combat. With the power of the dragon god, the half-a-dragon man superimposed the secret letter form. Chu Ye's melee combat ability is also very terrifying. Fight me in melee combat. You overestimate your own abilities, let's see how long you can last. The god of war sneered. Ha ha ha. Bang bang bang. The god of war punched wildly. Melee combat is also my strong point. I, Chu Ye, have never lost in melee combat in my life. If the god of war stands with me, I'm sorry, you'll definitely lose. Chu Ye also chopped the god of war frantically. The two sides have entered the stage of standing and fighting, almost in a very small range, madly bombarding each other. In just a few seconds, the god of war can throw hundreds of punches, and Chu Ye can cut hundreds of swords. The god of war is the melee king among the second-level gods, and Chu Ye is also the absolute king of melee. In his life, he has met too many opponents with very strong melee fighting ability. But none of them can beat him in that dark faith form. I will definitely lose. Ha 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 ha. Extremely arrogant. Then fight me to the end and see who can fight to the end. The god of war is extremely conceited. If it is a competition of who is stronger and who loses, the god of war may not have 100% confidence that he can beat Chu Ye, but if it is a melee fight, he, the god of war, has never been defeated by anyone. Okay. Come on. Chu Ye is also extremely confident. The dark faith form is the absolute king of melee. As long as the realm of both parties is not too huge, the dark faith state is invincible, and no one can beat Chu Ye in melee fighting. Bang 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 bang. Both sides were extreme and completely crazy. They did not even move within the originally very small melee range, and almost stood still, bombarding, slashing, and fighting madly. The more they fought, the more fierce and brave they became. Chu Ye and the god of war both madly threw hundreds of punches and swords in just a few seconds. Fists and swords bombarded and collided madly. Bang bang bang. Chu Ye and the god of war were quickly left with wounds caused by both sides. Colliding, dodging, and bearing the damage from each other, the wounds on their bodies became more and more, and their energy and physical strength began to be rapidly overdrawn, but their strength and speed were still increasing. Crazy. Crazy. It's too crazy. This kid is simply crazy. How dare he fight with the god of war like this? In this area, the god of war is almost invincible among the second-level gods. Chapter 438. Defeat the god of war and Chu Ye wins again. Looking for death. This kid is looking for death. Looking at the two people standing and fighting on the field, all the gods felt that it was too crazy and too fierce. They also felt that Chu Ye was looking for death. He dared to fight with the god of war's best fighting style. If he fought like this, the one who would fall in the end would definitely be Chu Ye. However, they soon found out that they were wrong. Chu Ye's attack speed became faster and faster in that situation. His attack speed increased significantly faster than the god of war. Moreover, in that kind of fighting, while Chu Ye was madly hitting the god of war, the wounds left by the god of war actually recovered at a speed visible to the naked eye. While he was madly injured, he was also madly recovering energy and wounds. Fuck. This kid. It's too weird. Fight. Feed the war. These 4 words appeared in the hearts of the gods. That's right, this is the horror of the dark later form. As long as he fights with continuous output, in the dark later form, Chu Ye's attack speed will become faster and faster, and his lethality will become more and more terrifying. At the same time, the speed of recovering blood, physical strength, and energy will become faster and faster. Every effective attack can restore blood horribly. The real way to fight to support the war. The war is endless. As long as the opponent's strength and lethality are not far above Chu Ye, he can recover blood infinitely and keep fighting. The effect of the god of war's Wuji War God stage can also gradually improve strength and speed in the infinite standing and fighting, but it is just an improvement, and it cannot recover like Chu Ye. Moreover, the upper limit of his strength and speed improvement is limited. After reaching a certain state, it is the limit. But even if the god of war improves the Wuji War God effect to the extreme, he may not be able to beat Chu Ye, and he may not be able to persist to the limit of the Wuji War God effect. Puff. 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 Ah. The god of war finally began to gradually lose touch and fell into a disadvantage. After being chopped by Chu Ye for more than 10 consecutive times, the screams of the god of war finally began to sound. Ha ha. Chu Ye laughed evilly, his face full of cruelty and madness. I have said long ago that you will definitely lose such a battle. In this regard, I'm undefeated. Chu Ye began to reduce the number of times he resisted the attack of the god of war, to exchange blood, and then start again, killing 1,000 enemies and injuring 800 of himself. This scared the god of war directly, with a look of horror on his face. Chu Ye can recover blood, but he can't. In this way, he will not only lose but even die if he is infinitely hurt. This is a desperate way of playing. Feeling that the god of war was a little timid, Chu Ye mocked. Why, didn't you say you would fight me to the end? Are you afraid now? Damn, I will be afraid of you. The god of war gritted his teeth, was ridiculed by Chu Ye, and continued to output. Keep coming. This is where he is most confident. How can he lose to Chu Ye in his strongest aspect? Fall down. Chu Ye. Ah! Bang bang bang. The god of war once again exerted his strength to the extreme, fighting madly for 10 minutes, and finally the god of war's strength was completely disconnected, and he could not do it. You'll fall. Get down, god of war. Chu Ye slashed the god of war's chest with a sword, and this sword chopped the god of war's divine armor on the spot. Bang. What, my divine armor is also? The god of war looked painful. Next, it was Chu Ye's performance time. The god of war completely lost his resistance and fell into Chu Ye's crazy and violent slashing. Puff. Puff. The body of the god of war was directly chopped into the air. Chu Ye continued to slash the body of the god of war upwards, and blood spurted wildly. Arms, thighs, chest, almost every part was chopped by Chu Ye. Brutal tearing. Ah! The screams of the god of war resounded throughout the duel field. Chu Ye chopped him in the air for a whole minute, more than hundreds of swords, and finally Chu Ye chopped him down from the sky with a sword. Bang. Boom. The god of war fell to the ground, extremely miserable and embarrassed. There was almost no wound on his body, all of it was blood. He was defeated. With his strongest ability, he was completely defeated by Chu Ye, and lost completely. The gods were also completely stunned, and were shocked by Chu Ye's ability again. Fuck. Oh my god. This kid, actually defeated the god of war in a close combat. Caught the god of war and chopped him up. He chopped the god of war down. Monster. This kid is simply a monster. Doesn't he have any weaknesses? He has a strong mental power, a strong body, and very terrifying skills. He can fight at a distance and in a protracted battle. His endurance is terrifying. His combat power is very calm, not impulsive, and he is also good at psychological warfare. He knows how to attack the heart. Now even close combat is so terrifying. It is hard to see any weakness in Chu Ye. It seems that he is so infinitely attackable and perfect. If you want to defeat him, it seems that the only way is to use absolutely powerful force to defeat him. Damn it. I lost, but the battle is not over yet. Boy, take my strongest attack. God of War's magic skill. Ah! The god of war was willing to consume all his remaining energy and launch his strongest attack in a short period of time. The last move would determine the winner. Chu Ye in mid-air slowly closed his eyes, and the scene changed, as if a forest appeared, with the sun and the moon alternating. Senlo array, sun and moon rotation. God and demon sword technique, second style, god and demon killing god slash. It's over. The power of the sun and the moon instantly merged into Chu Ye's body. Behind him, the figures of Guanxin and Dunxin seemed to emerge. With Chu Ye's sword, the god of war's strongest magic skill was finally confronted. Bang. Boom boom boom. At this moment, the terrifying energy collision included the bodies of the two people and spread to 100 meters away. The extremely dense energy blocked the sight of the gods, so that they didn't know what the result would be. All the gods looked there, in silence, staring intently, with a nervous and uneasy look on their faces, and clenched their fists tightly. Hey, will the war god win? That kid, should he fall too? All the gods didn't know how it would end until a few seconds later, when the energy slowly dissipated and the gods finally saw two figures on the duel field. One was standing, and the other was kneeling on the ground. As the energy completely dissipated, they finally saw clearly that the man standing was Chu Ye, and the man kneeling on the ground was the war god. Damn it. The gods looked uncomfortable. At this moment, the war god's body was already riddled with holes and bruises. He opened his mouth, his eyes were white, his strength was exhausted, and he had already fainted. Chapter 439. The Fire God's Reminder, the Azure God and the Killing God. Bang! The next second, the body of the God of War slowly fell to the ground, lying there quietly, motionless. Defeated. Even the God of War was defeated. So terrifying. The gods took a breath of cold air. Unbelievable that Chu Ye had fought all the way to such a point. He exceeded the imagination and expectations of the gods again and defeated the gods they originally thought could win again and again, and came to this point. Now there are not many gods who can stop Chu Ye. They all put their hopes on the god of killing, and the god of killing will be their last hope. Chu Ye's eyes also slowly moved to the god of killing, who was recognized as the strongest among the second-level gods. His body is now covered with wounds and is almost covered with blood. His body and soul power are at a critical point, close to the limit, close to activating the passive state of the Phoenix. Chu Ye immediately sat down and began to recover. In this battle, he had more wounds and more serious injuries, and needed more time to recover. At this time, the goddess of life came to the duel again. Seeing the defeated god of war on the ground, she frowned and immediately mobilized her own power of the god of life to treat the god of war. The god of war is so injured. After a closer look, the goddess of life realized how serious the injury of the god of war was. His life breath was very weak and he was dying. He was almost beaten to death. But with the healing of the goddess of life, the god of war gradually recovered some of his life and soon woke up from his fainting. "Thank you very much, god of life," the god of war said with a weak face, and then immediately sat cross-legged and recovered quickly with the power of the goddess of life. The goddess of life looked at Chu Ye, who was also recovering in the cross-legged sitting next to him. After hesitating for a moment, she also injected her own power into Chu Ye's body. Feeling the injection of the goddess of life's power, Chu Ye opened his eyes and cast a grateful look at the goddess of life. The goddess of life just nodded at Chu Ye. Chu Ye retracted his gaze and recovered quickly with the help of the goddess of life. The injuries of Chu Ye and the god of war were all recovering at a speed visible to the naked eye. The speed of recovery was so amazing that Chu Ye was shocked. This was the power of the god of life. She was the strongest healer in the entire god realm and the strongest nurse in the god realm. An hour later, Chu Ye's injuries were almost completely recovered, and any residual side effects disappeared. He slowly stood up. "Thank you. It's just a piece of cake," the goddess of life replied casually, and then returned to the viewing platform. At this time, the god of fire flew down from the viewing platform. "Brother Chu Ye." "Brother Fire God, why did you come down?" Chu Ye asked. The god of fire looked at the god of killing in the distance with a serious face, and then said to Chu Ye, "Brother Chu Ye, your opponent in the next game is likely to be the god of killing. You must be careful with this guy." "I understand, Brother Fire God." Chu Ye nodded. The god of fire did shake his head. "No, you may not understand." "Oh?" Chu Ye's eyes were a little more dignified. "Brother Chu Ye, do you know why the god of killing is called the strongest second-level god?" The god of fire came close to Chu Ye's ear and lowered his voice to a level that only the two of them could hear. Chu Ye asked, "Brother god of fire, please explain in detail." The god of killing is named Shapris, the law enforcer under the throne of God Shura. He is an ancient god of the same period as God Shura, and the position of the god of killing actually originated from the position of God Shura. It was created under the power of God Shura, so there is a source of power between the god of killing and God Shura. The reason why the god of killing is the strongest among the second-level gods is that he not only has a divine weapon like his first-level gods, but most importantly, the god of killing can temporarily borrow the power of God Shura. What? Chu Ye had already frowned. Although the god of killing can only use this skill once when he is using the power of the god of Shura, this has become the god of killing's strongest skill. It is so powerful that it can almost instantly kill or seriously injure all second-level gods. Even first-level gods must take it seriously. This is why the god of killing is the strongest god among the second-level gods. But Brother Chu Ye, the situation you're facing right now may be even worse. The god of fire looked solemn. Chu Ye seemed to have guessed something. The god of fire hesitated for a moment, but still finished the rest of his words. The god of Shura has obviously intended to target you, and the god of killing can temporarily borrow the power of the god of Shura, and the god of Shura is just at the scene. If the god of Shura wants to secretly borrow more of the god of killing's power, he may be able to lend more of his own Shura power to the god of killing without making a sound. Then you are really in danger. Brother Chu Ye, I think you must have greater abilities, and perhaps you still have ways to make your own strength continue to increase. Now, you should do everything you should do. I hope you can survive this day. The god of fire has a strong intuition. His intuition is telling him that Chu Ye has even stronger power, but the god of fire does not know how strong Chu Ye can be. Thank you, brother fire god, for reminding me. I know what to do. Chu Ye took a deep breath and nodded solemnly. He had made a decision in his heart. Come on, brother Chu Ye. The god of fire shook Chu Ye's shoulder and then returned to his position. Chu Ye looked at the god of killing and then at the god of Shura. Needless to say, if the god of killing can temporarily borrow the power of god Shura, then when the god of killing is defeated, god Shura will almost 100% help secretly lend more of his own power to the god of killing, and let the god of killing kill him. Although the god of fire said that the god of killing can only launch one attack when borrowing the power of Shura, if god Shura wants to help secretly, then the power displayed by the god of killing will be more than that. Now, Chu Ye must treat the god of killing as an opponent of the first level god. Then, facing such an opponent, Chu Ye can only improve his strength first. He decided to absorb the god-given soul ring now, so that his soul power can break through the 100th level and increase his combat power on the spot. Originally, Chu Ye planned to hide his strength, but for the sake of safety, he could only improve it first, otherwise he might be exposed more. Under the gaze of the gods, Chu Ye sat down again. The gods were all confused. What is he going to do? I don't know. Yeah. No matter what this kid does, he can never defeat Lord God of Killing. That's right. Lord God of Killing is invincible under the first level gods. Chu Ye will definitely lose. That's right. He will definitely lose. If you want to defeat the god of killing, you must have the strength of a first level god. Chapter 440 Chu Ye breaks through level 100, reaching the level 100 god level realm. And how could this kid have the power of a first level god? TSK, a bunch of ignorant gods. If Chu Ye had opened all the land cards, he would have already become a first level god. Qian Renxue said disdainfully. Chu Ye ignored those voices and slowly took out the god-given soul ring that he had obtained after completing the 7th test of the dragon. With a bit of expectation on his face. Then come on, it's time for my soul power to truly break through the 100 level realm. I hope he won't let me down. Chu Ye smiled, and the next second, he decisively absorbed the god-given soul ring, and in front of everyone, he was ready to break through the 100 level realm. What is that? Question mark, question mark, question mark. This is a god-given soul ring. This kid wants to absorb a god-given soul ring. Oh my god. That's right. This kid's dragon beast martial soul has only been cultivated to the 6th ring, and he wants to borrow the power of the god-given soul ring to improve his strength. Humph. Even so, it's useless. He wants to defeat the god of killing by absorbing one more soul ring. It's a fool's dream. The power of a soul ring can indeed bring him a boost, but it won't be strong enough to compete with the power of the Lord God of Killing. The god saw this and sneered with disdain. Yes, this kid is now trying to absorb the god-given soul ring at the last minute, which means that his limit is here. He is afraid of the power of the god of killing, and knows that he can't beat him, so he becomes stronger temporarily to fight. Some smart people began to analyze and infer by themselves, and then they were excited. To be honest, although they believed that the god of killing could win, it was like this several times before. They believed it but still lost in the end, so the gods were actually a little uneasy in their hearts. But Chu Ye's temporary strengthening made them conclude that Chu Ye's limit of strength was like this, otherwise why would he temporarily absorb spirit rings to become stronger? Indeed, the power of one more spirit ring can only make Chu Ye's spirit power and strength a little stronger. One or two more powerful spirit skills can add to it and strengthen it a little. But it can't achieve a big level gap. Unless Chu Ye's spirit power breaks through the 100th level from level 99. Of course, this is simply impossible in the eyes of the gods, so they didn't think about it. But Chu Ye is going to break through the 100th level. This time. I must break through the 100th level. Chu Ye was extremely determined and convinced. He closed his eyes and officially began the process of absorbing the god-given spirit ring. Soon, a circle of white 10-year spirit rings appeared on Chu Ye's body. Then it turned into a 100-year yellow spirit ring. A 1,000-year purple spirit ring. A 10,000-year black spirit ring. A 100,000-year red spirit ring. It stayed at the 100,000-year red state for a long time, but it was also during this process that Chu Ye's spirit power began to impact crazily, reaching the bottleneck of the 100th level. That's right. Chu Ye's soul power has already reached a level close to the 100th level, but it is only because of the lack of a huge amount of soul power that he has been unable to break through the 100th level. In this process, the surroundings of Chu Ye have begun to stir with terrifying energy fluctuations. After the energy fluctuations gather around a certain degree of restlessness, they instantly flow into his body. Bang! Boom boom boom. Chu Ye's body then disperses energy shocks, and then gathers restlessness again, and once again instantly integrates into his body, to impact the 100th level again and again. This is the prelude to a realm breakthrough. At this moment, all the gods in the audience were frightened and exclaimed continuously, "Fuck! This kid is going to break through the 100th level at level 99. How is this possible? He is going to impact the 100th level. Oh my god. Not good. Chu Ye, the successor of the dragon god, is already strong enough. If his soul power reaches the 100th level, his strength will definitely increase greatly. Maybe at the time, he can really threaten the god of death." The gods were a little panicked. The breakthrough from level 99 to level 100 is different from any breakthrough below it. Level 100 has truly entered the level of a god-level powerhouse. At the time, the soul power will be completely transformed from soul power into divine power, and the divine power will nourish the body, allowing the body to reach the level of godhood. All aspects of ability, strength, and skills will instantly increase and strengthen several times. Breaking through from level 99 to the god-level realm of level 100 is like a third-level god breaking through a second-level god, a leap and surge in strength. If Chu Ye really reaches the level of level 100, Chu Ye will really have the power to defeat the god of death. Breaking through from level 99 to the god level is almost impossible to accomplish. Unless you carry the godhood, or are granted by the god realm to become a priest without your godhood, otherwise, it is simply unrealistic. But now, Chu Ye seems to be really about to break through. Oh no. Oh no. If he really breaks through level 100, it's really hard to say. At this moment, the gods became more and more panicked, their faces were extremely ugly, and they wanted to rush up to stop Chu Ye from breaking through. Some gods were even trying to find ways to secretly stop him. This kid. The Azure god had a calm face, but he had a bad premonition in his heart again. The god of destruction sneered. No wonder he has such courage and dares to agree to my request to break through level 100. With 5 years, this kid may really threaten the second original Sin god sitting under me. The god of destruction never thought that Chu Ye could stand in front of him. In his opinion, Chu Ye could only challenge the 7 original Sin gods in the end. Although he has broken through level 100 now, none of the second-level gods and third-level gods in front of him can stop Chu Ye anymore, and the result will only be like this. The god of killing on the viewing platform finally frowned slightly, his face was uncertain, which he did not expect. It turned out that the god of killing had 100% confidence in killing Chu Ye, but now, Chu Ye made him feel threatened. Even if you break through level 100, I will crush you with my own hands. The god of killing was vicious in his heart. At this moment, Qian Renxue and Bite Dong had come to Chu Ye's side to protect him, in case those gods wanted to play tricks and secretly intervene to stop him. With the protection of the Angel God and the Rakshasa God, the gods were helpless and could only watch anxiously. As the terrifying energy hit Chu Ye's body again and again, the emotions of the gods seemed to be mobilized. They were very nervous and uneasy, watching Chu Ye, and even praying that Chu Ye would never break through. 2 hours passed quickly. But it was also at this time that Chu Ye's soul power finally broke through, from level 99 to level 100. Stepping into the 100 level. The realm of a god-level powerhouse. The terrifying energy around. In an instant, it swept through Chu Ye's body frantically. At that moment, he absorbed all the gathered energy and digested it into his body. Breakthrough. The Master broke through. Chapter 441 Mission 10, The Final Reward. The strong energy fluctuations exploded for the last time and spread directly to 1,000 meters away. And the circle of soul rings that were infinitely close to 1,000,000 years finally turned completely into golden, 100-year-old god ring at this moment. Chu Ye had the first circle of 1,000,000-year-old god-level soul ring. At this moment, he originally had a part of the soul power that had long been transformed into divine power. After the soul power broke through the 100th level, it was all transformed into divine power. Among them, part of it was the special dragon god power. Chu Ye's body was strengthened again, becoming more terrifying and powerful. The energy in his body increased by many times more than before. Under such a huge soul power, all of Chu Ye's soul skills will also be enhanced. Now Chu Ye doesn't know how strong he will be. Without using all the artifacts, the power of the dragon, and the sharing of power, the peak of the second-level god. No, perhaps he is infinitely close to the level of the first-level god. and as Chu Ye broke through the 100th level and successfully absorbed the 7th God-given soul ring, his colorful dragon martial soul finally evolved again. At the same time, at this moment, all the rewards from the system's tasks 1 to 10 were finally completed. A cold and familiar voice sounded in his mind again. 7-color dragon martial soul evolved, 8-color dragon, martial soul quality. God level, with ice, fire, earth, wind, light, darkness, space, time, 8 attributes. 1,000,000 years, God level, 7th soul skill, 8-color dragon true body. 1,000,000 years, God level martial soul true body, cough cough, awesome. Chu Ye smiled in his heart and thought. God level martial soul, 8-color dragon, then after absorbing the 8th soul ring again, it will be 9-color dragon, and 9-color dragon is the dragon god martial soul. Chu Ye's 2nd martial soul evolved again, directly making his martial soul now directly step into the god level. In terms of martial soul strength, it is on par with Chu Ye's sword of gods and demons. The two martial souls have their own merits and advantages, and in fact, there is no difference between who is stronger and who is weaker. The advantage of the 8-colored dragon martial spirit is that it is better for Chu Ye's own body, strengthening, amplification, fighting, and close combat. Even the effect of the dragon's true body is far more terrifying than the true body of the god and demon sword martial spirit. After all, the dragon's true body is a divine skill level martial spirit true body. But if compared with the lethality, power, and strength, it is naturally the god and demon sword martial spirit. After all, Chu Ye has been practicing this martial spirit since he was a child. His various abilities, sword skills, sword intentions, sword moves, including the blessing of a year of gods and demons, etc., are similar in terms of martial spirit strength, but the god and demon sword martial spirit will still be stronger on Chu Ye. But for Chu Ye, he never considers which martial spirit is stronger in battle, because he has already been able to use two martial spirits at the same time. Therefore, the enhancement of the second beast martial spirit has undoubtedly increased Chu Ye's current strength. Immediately after this voice, another voice sounded in Chu Ye's mind. He knew that this was about the reward for Task 10. From Task 1 to Task 10, Chu Ye will finally get the last reward of his system, the Golden Finger. It is detected that your soul power has reached level 100. The final task, Task 10 has been completed. The final reward is the Deprivation of Divine Position. Deprivation of Divine Position. Chu Ye's face suddenly changed, and he quickly checked the detailed effect introduction. Deprivation of Divine Position effect introduction. You can forcibly strip the divine position of others, so that the power of the gods can be extracted from their bodies. The stripped divine position can be fused by yourself, or given to others to merge with the divine position, and it will be easier to carry the power of the gods than the inheritance method. This kind of stripping is not just a simple loss of divine position power, and it is different from the normal inheritance of divine positions. Deprivation of divine position will make others lose all the power of gods and become mortals permanently. The condition for casting this technique must be carried out when the other party has no power to resist, or when the other party is absolutely controlled. This is something. The reward for Task 10 is really extraordinary. After reading it, Chu Ye was very surprised and a little surprised. From the detailed introduction, the deprivation of God's throne means that other thrones can be directly abolished, so that the god who carries the throne will lose his god. In other words, a god can be deprived of his power to be a god. Normal gods who want to leave their thrones usually find an heir and then pass on their thrones. However, for these gods, this kind of separation only means that they have lost the power of gods, and at most their power will be weakened a little. Because they have possessed gods, these gods can still obtain eternal life after passing on their thrones, so their power is still at the god level and they have divine power. To put it bluntly, it is a little weaker, but in fact, it is still at the level of gods, and there is not much impact. Gods cannot leave the realm of gods. After passing on their thrones, they can leave the realm of gods at will, have their own freedom, unrestrained, and can explore more distant worlds. Therefore, many gods want to pass on their thrones and are anxious to find heirs because of these two important points. But the deprivation of God's throne is different. While making others lose their thrones, it can also directly deprive others of their divine power, making them lose all the power of gods and directly become mortals. Mortals will no longer have eternal life, and will quickly die of old age over time. It can be understood that from a god, he has become a 99 level titled Douluo Soul Master, and it is permanent, and he will never be able to become a god again in his lifetime. This is already a very heavy punishment for the gods. But whether there is a punishment or not has nothing to do with Chu Ye now, but the benefit that the god position stripping technique gives Chu Ye. He can directly deprive a god of his position and merge it into his own body to achieve dual positions. Two gods in one body. The basic condition for dual positions is to have two martial souls. One martial soul carries one position, and the other martial soul carries another position. Chu Ye happens to have twin martial souls. And now through the god position stripping technique, he can choose a god at will. As long as he defeats it, Chu Ye can forcibly seize a position and become a dual position god. At the same time, the god position stripping technique can not only help himself make a profit, but also use this technique to help the people around him directly carry a position. He could completely strip away the thrones of those gods who already regarded him as an enemy and wanted to kill him, and then give them to the people he wanted to give them, so that they could carry the throne and ascend to become gods. For example, the elders of the Spirit Hall, Chrysanthemum and Douluo, Ghost Douluo and others. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 442a. Life and Death Battle on the Table, Chu Ye versus the God of Death. Under Chu Ye's technique, they can also achieve carrying, merging the godhood, and become a powerful god, a powerful deity. Break through the 100th level and ascend to become a god. Yes, this technique not only allows me to have two godhoods, but also allows me to cultivate my own people to become gods, consolidate my foundation and power in the god realm, and worship the elders, as well as Douluo and Ghost Douluo. They also have the opportunity to become gods. Then, now the godhood that is qualified to be taken over by me is only the godhood of the God King level. At that moment, Chu Ye's eyes were directly locked on the 5 great God Kings. Those, what 3rd level gods, 2nd level gods, including this killing god, this level of godhood, Chu Ye would not even look at it. He is already the heir to the strongest dragon god's godhood, the future dragon god. What's the point of taking over this low level godhood? He doesn't even think highly of the 1st level god. Since he wants to take over, it must be the strongest godhood of the God King level. This can match his dragon godhood. What kind of look is that kid giving? The moment Chu Ye cast his gaze, the 5 great gods were actually shocked. It was as if they were being stared at by a predator, as if they were about to eat someone. The Sure God and the God of Destruction felt it the most. This not only changed the face of the Sure God, but also made the bad premonition in his heart stronger and stronger. This made the Sure God want to get rid of Chu Ye more and more. Chu Ye quickly retracted his gaze. If the 5 great gods were the target, then the Sure God and the God of Destruction would be Chu Ye's first choice. At this moment, the gods were completely stunned, and there was a commotion and noise at the scene. Oh my god. Oh my god. Level 100. This kid actually broke through level 100. Damn it. He actually broke through level 100 by himself without a deity position and without the support of the gods. Oh my god, what kind of monster is he? At level 100, he should be able to threaten the god of death. The gods were terrified and unwilling to give up. They began to worry, fear, and doubt whether the god of death could stop Chu Ye. Chu Ye withdrew his thoughts, clenched his fists slightly, and completely relaxed himself to feel the power in his body at the moment. It was so surging and powerful that he couldn't help but feel excited. This is the 100 level realm. The energy level is really much stronger than before. It's a good opportunity to use this god of killing to feel it. He slowly stood up, feeling this almost transformed, brand new body, and the abilities he just gained. He said to the huge Qian Renxue and Bite by Dong, "Zwire, teacher, you go up first. Now, this battle should end. Come on, Chu Ye." Qian Renxue and Bite by Dong nodded. They were full of confidence in the current Chu Ye, and then returned to the viewing platform. Chu Ye raised his head. This time, his eyes locked onto the god of killing. His terrifying aura rose up. With an extremely domineering voice, he launched the final challenge to the god of killing, shouting loudly, "God of killing, come down. Let me see how powerful you, the strongest of the 2nd level gods, are." Chu Ye's domineering voice echoed. Facing Chu Ye's challenge, the god of killing lived up to everyone's expectations and finally stood up in the audience seats. His terrifying aura and killing intent rose up instantly. He walked slowly towards the dual field step by step under the eyes of the gods. Chu Ye stared at the god of killing. The god of killing also stared at Chu Ye. The confrontation between the eyes of both sides seemed to form 2 opposing auras, suppressing each other. The battle has not yet begun, but the smoke and atmosphere of this battle have been ignited. The god of killing, who carries the last hope of the gods, is the strongest among the second-level gods. The peak duel between him and Chu Ye is about to begin again. The atmosphere seemed to become extremely tense in an instant. The next second, the god of killing, who was still outside the arena, instantly changed his position and came to the duel arena, standing opposite Chu Ye 50 meters away. This farce should end now. I, the god of killing, will personally end it all. I will also let you see clearly how powerful it is to stand at the peak of the second-level god. I will take those gods you have defeated and the sword gods you have killed, and take their share to trample you onto my feet and crush you completely. Chu Ye, the successor of the dragon god, are you ready to die? The god of killing's voice was extremely calm, plain, and without emotion. It rang out one sentence after another, but it was full of the god of killing's strong killing intent. He slowly raised his right hand, and a black longsword full of murderous aura and the power of the god of killing appeared in his hand. He slowly raised the sword in his hand and pointed it at Chu Ye. He did not hide his killing intent and his idea of killing Chu Ye. He was blatant and gave himself a somewhat high-sounding reason, as if he was going to come up for revenge. The god of killing was also the only god who directly pointed out that he wanted to kill Chu Ye. Since the god of killing has made no secret of his killing intent towards me, then you should also be prepared to die under my sword. Chu Ye's voice was equally cold and full of killing intent. He did not hide his killing intent towards the god of killing at all. Everyone could see that this was a life and death battle on the table. Ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Upon hearing this, the god of killing laughed wildly. His laughter was very ugly and twisted, and it was also full of arrogance and contempt for Chu Ye. Chu Ye sneered and ignored the laughter of the god of killing. He said loudly to the gods outside the field, "Since the god of killing and I both have the belief that we must kill each other, then this is a battle of life and death. I hope that all gods will not interfere in our battle." The behavior of the god of killing had long aroused Chu Ye's killing intent, and he had also heard from Chu Ye. At the time, when the 7 elemental gods led the gods to the lower world, this god of killing targeted them in various ways, and even wanted to use killing everyone in the spirit hall, including Chu Ye and Qian Renxue's 2 children, as a threat to force himself out. Such behavior must be killed. The god of killing laughed. He frowned and his face suddenly became gloomy. He looked at Chu Ye with a gloomy face. "You kid, you really don't leave yourself a way out." Chu Ye's words directly shocked the god of killing, making him suddenly a little uncertain, and even his determination to win began to waver. Because no one would be so stupid as to block all his ways out, right? Although Chu Ye's challenge to the gods did not limit the killing of opponents, from the moment Chu Ye killed the god of swords, life and kindness jumped out to stop him. Chapter 443 The battle begins. The god of killing wanted to kill Chu Ye, but life and kindness might stop him. But if Chu Ye said that, wouldn't it mean that no one would come to save him if he was killed? At least there was still a way to survive, but Chu Ye blocked his own way. Who would do this if they didn't have absolute confidence? Is it self-confidence or arrogance? The god of killing was a little suspicious and couldn't see through it. Chu Ye sneered and said provocatively, "God of killing, do you dare?" Chu Ye also knew that there might be gods coming to stop him, so in order to prevent life, kindness, or sure god from coming to stop him from killing the god of killing, he had to tell the gods about this, and he also had to say this to the god of killing, trying to provoke the god of killing. Chu Ye's confident performance made the god of killing, who was originally 100% confident, begin to become less and less confident. This was a kind of aura, psychological deterrence, and threat. But the god of killing fell into it unknowingly, and he began to lose his determination to win. How is it possible? How can he defeat me? Blind self-confidence. This kid must be blindly confident. The god of killing kept brainwashing himself, building up his mind, and comforting himself. But it is undeniable that deep in his heart he has lost his absolute self-confidence, but he is unwilling to believe and admit that he may fail. The god of killing sneered and looked at Chu Ye's expression with disdain, as if to say, "Would I be afraid of you?" He also shouted loudly, "Today, I will fight to the death with the heir of the dragon god. Only one can walk out of this duel alive. I hope that the gods will not interfere in our battle." As the god of killing said this, the gods, including the god king, would no longer have any intention of stopping it. "Now, you can die, kid." The killing intent of the god of killing was completely released, and the killing intent was everywhere, almost releasing his killing intent to the extreme. Soon, a blood-red armor appeared on the body of the god of killing. The armor also exuded a strange blood-red light, full of bloody murderous aura. This is the god of killing's divine suit. After his divine outfit was released, a pair of red wings appeared behind him. They were wings similar to blood bats, bat wings. With divine outfit, divine tools, and multiple states activated, the god of killing had a completely different aura than before. He was more like a demon than a god, a demon full of blood and killing. The overall feeling made Chu Ye feel very familiar, like the king of killing in the killing city. Except for the different face, the whole feeling was at least 70% similar to the king of killing. There was no vitality in his eyes, only coldness and coldness, staring at Chu Ye coldly. It was like staring at a lamb waiting. Kill God. Killed him. Killed him. Boy, you were dead this time. You are courting death by fighting with the kill god. I want to see how arrogant you are. Kill God, you must teach him a lesson and make him pay the price. See if he dares to be so arrogant again. Kill God. Hit nose. Kill God. Hit nose. Kill God. Hit nose. Those gods started to be brave again, and stood up and shouted one by one, cheering for the kill god, mocking and angrily scolding Chu Ye. A group of gods began to shout the name of the kill god. Their inner thoughts and their faces full of murderous intent and hostility were all revealed at this moment. You guys, I remember your faces. When I become the dragon god, none of you will escape. Chu Ye stared at them intently, and glanced at those gods who had very obvious murderous intent and hostility towards him. He has memorized all these gods. When the time comes, he will pull down their god positions one by one, destroy their divine power, and give their god positions to the strong men of his Wuhan Hall to merge. Chu Ye did not waste any words, and directly activated his dual martial souls, and all the soul skills were amplified. 7th soul skill, God and Demon True Body. When Chu Ye activated his martial soul True Body, the gods had already clearly felt that Chu Ye's current aura was several times stronger than before. This kid, after breaking through the 100th level, he has indeed become much stronger. The gods looked ugly. Hehe, kid, use all your trump cards. If it's just this level, you are far from my opponent. The god of killing sneered. So much nonsense, let's do it. Chu Ye pointed the god of killing with the sword of god and demon. Don't overestimate your ability. Then you'll die. The god of killing stopped talking nonsense and disappeared instantly, waving the terrifying artifact in his hand, the sword of the god of killing. A sword was swung down on the spot. The sword also exuded the top sword intent. That's right, the god of killing also hit sword intent, and he also reached the realm of unity between man and sword, the peak realm in that creation of sword intent. So this sword was accompanied by the powerful sword intent of the god of killing. Chu Ye made a move instantly, and was about to swing the same sword, and the two swords collided with each other. Bang! Boom boom boom! The two men, one with a sword, stuck together head-on, two terrifying forces confronted each other, and their eyes clashed. Here! Chu Ye sneered. The god of killing was indeed a little cold and ugly. This kid, he can actually block my attack under the swing of the sword of the god of killing with this kind of power. The next second, the two were shot back at the same time. Soon, they faced each other again, and a fierce melee fight broke out. Bang bang bang. Rest. Rest. Boom boom boom. The two sides officially started a fierce battle. In the arena, they fought fiercely, you attacked and I defended and you attacked, the rhythm alternated back and forth, the fight was very fierce and difficult to tell. During this process, Chu Ye kept feeling his own strength, borrowing the god of killing to adapt to his own strength which had reached the 100th level. The god of killing understood that he seemed to be used as a tool by Chu Ye, and he was very unhappy, so he went all out. God of killing domain. Ha! The fearful killing intent soared to the sky, and it had been pushed to the peak. The god of killing released the domain and opened all his skills in the amplification state. The battle had just begun for a while, and he immediately entered the strongest state. You want to use me as a whetstone? Hectares, don't even think about it, go to hell. Arrogant boy. The god of killing decisively released a terrifying blow and killed Chu Ye. With the idea of killing Chu Ye in seconds. He would not give Chu Ye time to adapt and then perfectly control his own strength. He directly pulled the rhythm of the battle to the match point, intending to kill Chu Ye quickly with the strongest power. At this moment, the god of killing's own peak power was undoubtedly revealed. That breath gave Chu Ye the feeling that it had surpassed the first second-level god he met in the Dragon Tomb at the time, the god of Phoenix. The power of the god of death lies mainly in his powerful magical skills. Chapter 444. Is this your power at the peak of the second-level god level? With the blessing of those divine skills, even the god of death and the first-level god have the foundation of fighting. Since you are so anxious to die, I will help you. Seeing this, Chu Ye also turned on his full state. God and Demon Realm. External Soul Bone Skill. Dragon God Power. Chu Ye's breath and strength began to soar wildly, but when he opened the Dragon God wings, his strength and breath were almost equal to the God of Death. 7th Soul Skill, 8-Colored Dragon True Body. Roar. Chu Ye opened the 8-Colored Dragon Martial Soul True Body for the first time. The terrifying increase brought by the Martial Soul True Body directly made Chu Ye's strength increase at a speed that seemed to have increased exponentially. A huge 8-Colored Dragon Martial Soul appeared behind Chu Ye. The roar of the dragon resounded throughout the dual field. The dragon roar that seemed to come from the top dragon clan, the dragon god, made all the gods present fear and terrified. That was the era when the dragon god ruled. The fear of the dragon god was from the bottom of their hearts. An absolute sense of oppression from the dragon god. All the gods who had experienced the dragon god period and the god realm war that year and had seen the terrifying and powerful dragon god were deeply terrified. At this moment, they saw the figure of the dragon god on Chu Ye. They were afraid of the dragon god, and they were also afraid of Chu Ye. Not only the first-level gods, but even the 5 great god kings were afraid of Chu Ye's breath. Because the dragon god is undeniably the strongest god. Dragon god. The god of killing on the field lost his calmness and confidence in that moment, and his face subconsciously showed a look of fear and cold sweat. The god of killing was also a god who had experienced the dragon god period and the god realm war. This time, it was the first time he really began to fear Chu Ye. If the 8-colored giant dragon martial spirit evolves again, it will be the real dragon god martial spirit, so the 8 colors gave Chu Ye the shadow of the real dragon god. Under the amplification of this god-level martial spirit, at this moment, Chu Ye's aura has surpassed that of the god of killing. His body, strength, defense, and speed have all been strengthened to the peak. Even some first-level gods cannot defeat Chu Ye's current physical strength. Without using divine skills, Chu Ye's melee and combat capabilities have reached the level of a first-level god. Come on, god of killing. Chu Ye said coldly. He stood straight and looked his finger at the god of killing, a very provocative gesture. Die for me. The god of killing could not tolerate Chu Ye's provocation. He clenched the sword of the god of killing in his hand and attacked fiercely like crazy. Get out. Chu Ye also showed a cruel look on his face, and slashed at the god of killing directly. Bang. Boom boom boom. The swords and strength of both sides collided again, but this time, Chu Ye used an absolute crushing momentum to directly slash the god of killing away with one sword. Ah! The god of killing screamed, and was chopped away 100 meters by Chu Ye's sword. His body was in a very embarrassing state on the ground. He hit the ground several times before he stopped. At this moment, Chu Ye's power was obviously superior to that of the god of killing. Fuck. The god of killing. Kill was chopped away by a sword. Oh my god. How come this kid is so strong all of a sudden? This scene made the whole audience exclaim. The god of fire shook his head and smiled. This kid, I underestimated him after all. How is it possible? The god of killing knelt on one knee and lay on the ground, with a look of horror and disbelief. He couldn't imagine that he was chopped away by Chu Ye's sword without any resistance. Weren't you very crazy just now? What's wrong now? Keep going. Chu Ye had an indifferent face and walked slowly forward. Damn it. Ah! I will definitely kill you. The god of killing screamed wildly, and instantly burst up from the ground. His face was extremely ferocious and fierce. He mobilized his strength to the extreme. He swung the sword at the god of killing again. Roar. Chu Ye roared again. This time, he directly transformed into an 8-colored dragon, a dragon with 8 colors and nearly 100 meters long. He flapped his dragon wings and instantly flew towards the god of killing. Roar. Chu Ye roared, and the terrifying huge dragon claws grabbed the god of killing. Bang. Boom. Ah, it was also very difficult to dodge. But the huge dragon body Chu Ye instantly switched back to his human body, easily avoided the 3 killing slashes, and once again dropped a sword from the sky. A sword cut down the god of killing from above. Bang. Boom. The god of killing raised the sword in his hand and used it to block Chu Ye's sword of gods and demons. Chu Ye was suppressing him madly from above, and the god of killing resisted from below, but the power was being pressed, causing the body of the god of killing to be suppressed little by little. Kneel down. Chu Ye's angry voice shook people's souls, and his face was fierce, and it instantly increased. The god of killing could no longer resist, and his knees, which were suppressed by Chu Ye, knelt directly on the ground. Bang. Under the horrible pressure, the god of killing's knees slammed hard on the ground, and his knees were directly smashed to bleed. The proud and conceited god of killing was completely suppressed by Chu Ye at this moment, and knelt in front of Chu Ye without any dignity in face. The god of killing tried his best to retract his strength to the limit and retrieve to escape. He succeeded, but Chu Ye also raised his sword at that moment, and slashed the god of killing's chest from bottom to top. Puff. Ah 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 ah. The god of killing screamed again, blood spurted out of his chest, and was chopped away by Chu Ye's sword again. Is this what you call the power of the peak of the second level god? Chu Ye's voice sounded mocking. But his movements and attack rhythm did not slow down at all. He did not give the god of killing a moment to breathe. The next move was to kill again. Roar. Chu Ye turned into a giant dragon again. Under the 7th soul skill, the 8-colored giant dragon true body, he could switch between the giant dragon form and the human form at will. The giant dragon form is the most terrifying form of Chu Ye's body. He flew towards the god of killing like a terror, and used his dragon wings to slap the god of killing wildly left and right. The god of killing tried his best to resist, but he could not fight back and could only resist and defend. Chu Ye's attack speed of flapping dragon wings was getting faster and faster, making the god of killing more and more exhausted, even to the point where he could not defend himself. Ah! The god of killing screamed miserably. Chapter 445. Sure, a god secretly helps. Bang, bang, bang. Ah, ah, ah. The god of death finally couldn't keep up with Chu Ye's speed. He was whipped by the huge dragon wings, and his mouth was slapped. He completely lost his defense and was whipped dozens of times by Chu Ye's dragon wings. He screamed loudly. Didn't you say you would end me with your own hands? Didn't you say you wanted me to see clearly how powerful it is to stand at the peak of the second level god, to step on me, and to crush me completely? That's it. Ah. Waste. Hush. Bang. After whipping dozens of times, Chu Ye directly raised his huge dragon foot and faced the god of death, stepping on him hard from above. Aren't you very awesome? What's wrong with you now, so embarrassed? You want to kill me like this? Fuck you. Chu Ye, in the form of an 8-colored giant dragon, pressed the god of death to the ground and kicked him hard. The more Chu Ye kicked, the angrier he got, and the stronger his killing intent became. A piece of trash like you is worthy of threatening my spirit hall, and my children. My family. When Chu Ye recalled what Qian Renxue had told him, when the 7 elemental gods led the gods to the lower world to capture him, the killing god's actions, and the use of the power of the spirit hall and his own children as threats to force him to do so, he was already ignited with boundless anger. Who the hell are you? Die. 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 Bang 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 bang. Ah. Chu Ye stopped, kicked, and kicked the killing god under his feet crazily. He kicked almost 10 times in 1 second. The dual field was very hard, but even such hard ground was kicked into a deep pit by Chu Ye. Ah! The killing god screamed again and again, and in an instant, he was left with only screams, his body covered with bruises and blood on his face. Chu Ye pressed him to the ground and stepped on him without any dignity. Seeing the god of killing who was beaten and trampled by Chu Ye without any resistance, the god's hearts completely collapsed. Every kick Chu Ye kicked at the god of killing was like a kick in their faces, making them extremely aggrieved, unacceptable, and collapsed. That was the god of killing. The strongest god among the second-level gods, who had the power to fight against the first-level gods. Now, he was beaten and kicked by Chu Ye on the ground. How could this happen? How could this happen? This must be fake, this must be fake. God of killing. How could the god of killing be so weak? How could the god of killing be so defenseless and be beaten by Chu Ye on the ground? This is impossible. This is absolutely impossible. Those gods who placed their hopes on the god of killing, who wanted to see Chu Ye being trampled underfoot and killed, went crazy. They couldn't face reality, were unwilling to accept reality, and found it difficult to accept. They all held their heads with both hands, looking at the god of killing being beaten, and ran away and screamed. I felt that my inner faith and hope had collapsed, and I was extremely desperate. At this moment, the god of killing had been kicked and seriously injured. If he continued like this, he would even be trampled to death by Chu Ye. The dignified god of killing, was actually trampled to death by this kid. The god of killing was extremely terrified, and extremely angry and unwilling. Even if he was killed, he couldn't be beaten to death in such a humiliating way. He hadn't used his powerful magic skills yet, and he didn't have the chance to use his trump cards. As long as he was given time to breathe and fight back, it was still unclear who would live and who would die. How could he be beaten to death like this? But the god of killing was completely locked by Chu Ye's attack rhythm, and he couldn't find a chance to escape at all. Go to hell. Die. Bang bang bang. Chu Ye was still kicking the god of killing crazily. Chu Ye, who had already seized the absolute advantage, would never give the god of killing any chance to counterattack. He didn't need to take the risk and give the god of killing a fatal blow, because such a move might make the god of killing break away from his absolute attack rhythm. He just needed to keep doing this and kick the god of killing to death without dignity. Stomp to death. The calm and composed Azure god, who would not show his emotions on his face at this moment, saw the god of killing so miserable. His face also became ugly, and his fists were clenched tightly. The god of killing was the first law enforcer under the Azure god, and the subordinates had been with the Azure god the longest. How could he watch the god of killing die in the duel field like this? God of killing. An extremely majestic voice suddenly sounded in the mind of the god of killing. How long do you want to be pinned to the ground and beaten by him like this? Stand up. I will give you strength. My lord. This majestic voice in the mind of the god of killing was exactly that of the Azure god. The god of killing, who was desperate and beaten, suddenly felt ecstatic in his heart, because he had already felt the Azure god's invisible Azure power injected into his body. The god of killing was born because of the Azure god. The god of killing can be said to be a branch of the power of the Azure god, so the power between the two gods is easy to communicate. In addition, with the means of the god King Shura, he could naturally lend part of his power to the god of killing without the gods being able to detect it. After the injection of Shura power that did not belong to him, the god of killing's strength, speed, and reaction ability were all enhanced. He instantly grabbed Chu Ye's foot that wanted to continue to kick it violently. Bang! Boom boom boom! The god of killing on the ground raised his left hand and tightly grasped Chu Ye's dragon foot in the form of a giant dragon. His face, covered in blood, showed an extremely excited, crazy, and ferocious expression. It's time for him to fight back. This is... Chu Ye frowned. At that moment, he sensed a force on the god of killing that did not originally belong to the god of killing. It was the power of the god of Rakshasa. Shura power. As expected, the god of Shura made a move in secret. Chu Ye's face was gloomy. The next second. Get out of here. The god of killing suddenly showed a terrifying power and pushed Chu Ye away with his bare hands, completely interrupting Chu Ye's attack rhythm. Damn you, kid. You made me so embarrassed. I will return the damage and insults you have caused me 100 times, 1,000 times. The god of death was like a mad dog, suddenly increasing his strength and speed. He was much stronger than before, and rushed towards Chu Ye, launching a crazy counterattack against Chu Ye. Bang bang bang. The god of death, who was just kicked and trampled, suddenly changed the situation and regained the upper hand, beating Chu Ye back again and again, suppressing him. At this time, all the gods also noticed the Shura power in the god of death. The god of death can borrow the power of the Shura god. Almost all the gods know this and have heard of it. But knowing it does not necessarily mean seeing it. In fact, only some gods have seen the god of death borrowing the power of the Shura god. And those who have seen it know that it is not like this now, and it is not in this form. Chapter 446. Power Sharing. Chu Ye's combat power reaches level 1 god. It was a feeling like being possessed by a Shura. A phantom of Shura god would appear behind him, and then Shura god's power would be added to the body of the god of killing. But now Shura god's power appeared directly on the body of the god of killing, just like the energy in his own body, and it was very easy to mobilize. Some gods had already thought of it, and it was probably Shura god cheating and secretly helping. Some gods chose to pretend that they knew nothing, but some gods frowned and were very angry about what was happening in front of them. As the god of fire who supported Chu Ye, he was naturally the first to stand up and question Shura god. King Shura, you're unfair, right? Shura god turned his head slowly with a calm face and looked at the god of fire not far away. God of fire, why do you say that? Humph. King Shura god, the Shura god's power on the god of killing, do you really think that the gods can't feel it? You interfered in this battle privately, secretly lent your Shura god's power to the god of killing, and broke the rules. You ask me why I said that? The god of fire said angrily. Shura Binja's tone was calm, but her words were very sharp. King Shura, as the highest law enforcer in the god realm, you represent the laws and regulations of our god realm and are in charge of the laws and rules. You symbolize absolute fairness and justice, but now you are doing something that violates the rules and fairness. Your behavior really loses your status as the highest law enforcer in the god realm. The words of the fire god and the water god directly aroused the displeasure and opinions of a large number of gods towards the actions of the god Shura. That's right. King Shura, how can you convince the public in the future if you do such a thing? Even the highest law enforcer breaks the rules. What is the need for the laws and regulations of the God realm to exist? The reactions of the gods became more and more intense. Many gods were not worried about the abuse of power by the god Shura, but that a person in power would make the laws and regulations useless after abusing his power. Once there are no rules, there will be no rules at all, and the god realm will be in chaos. Once in the god-level law enforcement hall, once in the duel arena, the two actions of Shura God have already lost the hearts of the gods, and they have even questioned Shura God's identity as the law enforcer of the god realm, and felt that Shura God was a little unworthy at this position. Shura, you really shouldn't do this with your identity. The goddess of life and the god of kindness looked gloomy, and even the god of evil cast an indifferent and unhappy look at Shura God. This is also the main reason why, although Shura God wanted to kill Chu Ye in his heart, he would not openly express his thoughts like the god of destruction. It was because of his identity, the highest law enforcer in the god realm. And Shura God would naturally not easily let his identity, status, and his image in the hearts of the gods collapse easily. He still said calmly, "Everyone, are you suspecting that I secretly helped the god of killing? Isn't it? Do you have evidence to prove it? Or have you felt the process of me lending my power to the god of killing?" Shura God said lightly. "This," Shura God continued, "the god of killing could have borrowed my power. You should know this. How long have you not seen the god of killing take action? The current god of killing has already mastered more methods and ways to borrow my Shura God's power. Instead of my secret help." Shura God said this, he suddenly stood up and said loudly, "I, Shura God, am the law enforcer of the god realm and will never do such a thing." The god of fire and the god of water looked at each other, and the god of fire secretly clenched his fists. Damn it. The gods were silent, even if they had serious doubts or even certainty, but they really couldn't feel it and had no evidence. And the absolute words of Shura God once again endowed many gods who supported him. Here. Shura God sneered in his heart and sat back in his seat again. Although his behavior disappointed many gods and lost some of the people's hearts, as long as there was still a large number of supporters, it actually didn't have much impact. The scene returned to the duel. At this moment, the god of killing was still attacking Chu Ye crazily. Chu Ye resisted with all his strength, but listening to the extremely shameless words of Shura God just now, Chu Ye's remaining goodwill towards Shura God was gone. "Shura God, you are so hypocritical and shameless. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Now you can only defend my attack to the limit like this. I wonder how long you can hold on. I will kill you in 3 minutes." The god of killing was extremely crazy, laughing fiercely while attacking crazily. This Shura power can't last long and will soon become ineffective. There is only about 3 minutes left. The god of killing must show his strongest power during this time to kill Chu Ye. "How miserable you made me just now. I will make you as miserable as you are. I will make you feel worse than death. Die in despair and misery. Bang. Boom." The god of killing was inferior to the color and triggered a terrifying blow, which shook Chu Ye away 200 or 300 meters. "Go to hell. 100 for big and violent killing." The god of killing roared wildly and finally launched his own powerful divine skills. The next second, he flashed, and hundreds of white lights rushed straight towards Chu Ye. Those hundreds of white lights were actually the fists of the god of killing. That's right, the god of killing had already thrown hundreds of punches at that moment. Each punch he threw carried a strange power. The range covered by those hundreds of punches formed a magical formation. While attacking, it could actually restrict Chu Ye's body, making it impossible for him to dodge and he could only block it. "I want to see how you can resist this move. I will first cripple you, and then torture you to death." At this moment, the god of killing was full of confidence in himself, with a fierce and ferocious face. "Do you think that with the help of the Shura God, you can defeat me? God of killing, you still know nothing about my power." Finding that his body could not move and could only resist, and also feeling the terrifying power of the god of killing's divine skills, Chu Ye understood that he could only mobilize more trump card power now. The strength of the god of killing includes his multiple divine skills, which are very powerful, and each move actually threatens the power of a first-level god. When the gods thought that Chu Ye would be killed by the god of death's 100 forbidden killings, a terrifying force rose up from Chu Ye's body again. In an instant, a large amount of angel power poured into Chu Ye's body. Share the power. Qian Renxue, who had already mastered the combat power close to the first-level god, poured in half of her power, allowing Chu Ye's power at this moment to truly step into the combat power of the first-level god in all aspects. Now, he has the power of a true first-level god. That's angel power. Chapter 447. The God-killing skill, God scare technique. All the gods were shocked. That's the power of the angels. How is it possible? How is it possible? He can actually borrow the power of the angels on his own. All the gods knew that Chu Ye could use the power of the angels, Qian Renxue, but they thought that it could only be activated when two people fought together, or when it was a skill or a martial soul fusion skill. As a result, Chu Ye could also use the power of the angels on his own, just like the god of killing borrowed the power of the sure god. Feeling Chu Ye's breath, which was equivalent to the first level god, the god of killing was terrified again. Chu Ye sneered and switched to the dark later form directly. He stood there and chopped at the thousands of light fists that attacked the god of killing. Bang, bang, bang. Chu Ye's sword swinging speed reached an extremely amazing level. Almost in an instant, he swung out thousands of swords, and each sword smashed the light fists with great precision. When all the light fists were smashed, Chu Ye's body was also freed from the restrictions. Fearless charge. He swayed his body and approached the god of killing with a strange body speed. Damn it. The god of death launched another powerful divine skill. Blade of killing consciousness. A white light flashed on the sword of the god of death, and a terrifying sword blade broke through the void and locked Chu Ye's consciousness. Like the 100 forbidden violent kill, this was also an attack that could not be avoided. In this case, Chu Ye still had to choose to fight back. The second move of the god and demon sword technique, the god and demon killing god slash. Hush. Bang. 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 The two terrifying skills collided together, and Chu Ye blocked the powerful attack of the god of death. Through the strange body movement speed of the fearless charge, he quickly got close to the god of death. Puff. 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 Ah. Brutal tear. Shadow burst. Chu Ye slashed at him crazily. Now the god of death was hit by Chu Ye at close range, and he had almost no ability to resist. In less than 10 seconds, the god of death was slashed by Chu Ye hundreds of swords. His body was covered with wounds, and it was miserable. The situation changed again, and it became Chu Ye who beat the god of death. In close combat, Chu Ye is now invincible under the first level god. Even the first level god may not be sure of defeating Chu Ye in close combat. The god of killing now wants to reverse the situation. He can only keep the distance and avoid close combat with Chu Ye. Therefore, the scene is like the god of killing is chased and chopped by Chu Ye all over the field. One runs and the other chases. The god of killing is rolling and crawling, embarrassed. The arrogant look of the god of killing before is completely gone. Puff. Aga. Chu Ye slashed the god of killing hard on the back. The god of killing was severely injured by Chu Ye's sword again and was chopped away. But he also took advantage of the impact of being chopped away to leave the distance and turn to counterattack at the limit. Divine Sword Integration. This is the strongest attack of the god of killing sword intent and the artifact god of killing sword. The body of the god of killing truly merged with the sword of the god of killing, turning into a 4-foot giant sword, killing Chu Ye. 9th soul skill, god and demon destroy the world. Aga. Bang. Boom boom boom. Chu Ye used his skills again to block the powerful attack of the god of killing. Then he continued to attack closely. Go to hell. Puff. Ah. With this sword, the right arm of the god of killing was cut off by Chu Ye on the spot, and a miserable cry rang out. You are the one who deserves to die. Boy. You fell into the trap. The face of the god of killing was extremely sinister. He used his broken arm as the price. At that moment, he really launched the divine skill exclusive to the god of killing. Soul capture technique. In an instant, the terrifying power of the god of killing enveloped the entire venue, covering Chu Ye and the god of killing. Chu Ye was hit, and was hit by the soul capture technique. Chu Ye frowned slightly. He noticed it but couldn't avoid it. That moment was too fast, and the covering speed was too fast, but he didn't panic because of it. It's the soul capture technique. The god of killing's most powerful and exclusive divine skill, the soul capture technique. He's dead. Chu Ye is dead. He's been hit by the soul capture technique of the god of killing. Ha ha ha. He's going to die. This kid is finally finished. The soul capture technique is the ultimate killer move of the god of killing. Once the soul capture technique is used, it is almost certain that anyone below the first level god will die. All souls and consciousness within its range will be shot and unable to move at all. They will be completely shocked. All gods below the first level main god will be temporarily unable to control their bodies after being hit by the soul capture technique. Back then, the god of killing almost killed a first level god with this move. Chu Ye, the successor of the dragon god, will definitely die this time. Go. God of killing. Kill him in one fell swoop. The group of gods were instantly excited and boiling, with excitement, joy, and excitement on their faces. They wanted to see it, they wanted to see it. The way Chu Ye was killed. Everyone had a smile on their face, and their smiles were full of teeth. Not good, brother Chu Ye. The fire god was worried, but he found that Qian Renxue, who was not far away, was very calm and composed. The soul and consciousness are all shocked, and even the power is difficult to control. Is this the ultimate move of the god of killing, the soul capture technique? It is indeed a very remarkable skill, but unfortunately, I will disappoint you. Chu Ye heard the voices of the gods outside the field. The next second, he was completely shocked. This move is extremely terrifying, and the probability of successful release is very high. It is not a powerful skill, but it is a skill that is enough to kill the opponent. Under the soul capture technique, the enemy will lose the ability to resist in a short period of time, and even cannot resist with strength, which means that he has become a living target. In other words, the god of killing can easily kill the opponent by releasing another skill next time. But such a weird skill naturally has its drawbacks, that is, the god of killing himself will be shocked by the soul capture technique. But the god of killing can do something through the control of his body by the consciousness just before, such as arm, to perform skills. Before he was shocked, the attack skills released by controlling his body with his spiritual consciousness could not exert the original power of the god of killing, but they were enough to kill or seriously injure the enemy. Now, Chu Ye and the god of killing have been shocked by the soul capture technique, but through the body controlled by his spiritual consciousness a second ago, the god of killing has already launched another powerful attack skill on his own. He quickly killed Chu Ye. Die, dragon god successor. God of killing, kill him in one fell swoop. Cut off his head directly. The gods outside the field were excited and roared excitedly. The god of killing held the sword of killing in his hand and unconsciously killed Chu Ye. 300 meters, 200 meters, 100 meters, 50 meters. The last 10 meters. The sword of the god of killing was about to chop Chu Ye's neck. Chapter 448. Shira's possession, a decisive move. The last 10 meters. As the god of killing rapidly approached Chu Ye, the gods were completely nervous and excited to the extreme. Those gods who wanted to see Chu Ye clenched their fists. They only needed the god of killing to cut off Chu Ye's head with a sword, and then they could all stand up. Then they screamed passionately, venting their pent-up emotions. 5 meters. Go to hell. Chu Ye, the successor of the dragon god. The gods were completely excited and crazy, roaring, and they all stood up, because there were only the last 5 meters left, and there was no chance of turning around, and they would definitely die. There was only one ending. They would see the god of killing cut off Chu Ye's head with his own hands. But when the god of killing's sword chopped towards Chu Ye's neck, the sword had even chopped on his neck, but it did not cut off Chu Ye's neck easily as imagined. Instead, it seemed that it was completely blocked by a force, and Chu Ye was not hurt at all. What? Fuck. How is this possible? The gods who had all stood up widened their eyes. Soon, Chu Ye's body was instantly ignited by the flames of the phoenix. That's right, Chu Ye's Phoenix Soul Bone, the passive skill is now activated. The Phoenix Soul Bone passive skill can be activated when the power reaches the limit or when it is hit by a fatal blow, blocking all attacks, and the power and status are instantly restored to more than half of 50. The Phoenix flames wrapped Chu Ye's whole body, allowing his physical strength, energy, wounds, and status to instantly recover and rise. All the gods stood up, staring with wide eyes and mouths, completely dumbfounded, completely confused. Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Hey, this kid is not only not killed, he even recovered? Fuck. This guy can't be killed. The gods sat back in their seats with a look of despair, their eyes were dull, like a group of idiots, and they couldn't stand it in their hearts. This kind of ups and downs, full of hope and despair in an instant, is even more uncomfortable than death. At this moment, Chu Ye and the god of killing both recovered from their shock. Seeing that Chu Ye was not only alive but also recovered, the god of killing was also confused. How could this happen? Chu Ye smiled evilly. I'm sorry, my Phoenix Soul Bone skill was triggered passively, not by me actively. The next second, Chu Ye's evil smile instantly changed to full of killing intent. Get out. With another sword, he cut off the god of killing's left arm. Puffa. The god of killing had his arm cut off again, and at this moment his condition was close to the limit. Bang. Chu Ye kicked the god of killing hard in the face, kicking him away. I must kill you. I must kill you. The god of killing was completely crazy, and he began to burn his consciousness and the source of life. Then he launched the strongest attack with his own power. Shock God 7 kills. The god of killing injected all his divine power into it, and solidified all his power at the tip of the sword. Kill. 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 7 kill characters appeared, and each kill what made the power of the sword of the god of killing increase horribly. Chu Ye's body floated above the huge sky. He took a deep breath and closed his eyes. The god and demon sword intent was raging around him. At this moment, he also launched his strongest attack. Transform into a god, bathing the desolate land, rely on the white knight alone, and break the devil for a living. The third style of the god and demon sword technique, slay that devil. Chu Ye's breath, strength, and power reached the peak. At this moment, all the first-level gods were afraid of him. Both sides roared, mobilizing the attacks of their own strongmen and confronting each other head-on. Bang! Boom! Die! The two forces attacked frantically and confronted each other for 3 seconds, but they could not resist Chu Ye's most terrifying attack after all. Puff! The god of killing screamed, and a big hole was pierced through his chest on the spot. His body instantly fell to the ground. Go to hell, god of killing! Chu Ye attacked again, intending to cut off the head of god of killing in one fell swoop. God of killing! Quick! Use that move to kill him! The voice of god of Shura sounded again. God of killing, who was lying on the ground, recovered instantly. At this moment, the terrifying power of Shura once again hurt god of killing. Ashura possessed. At that moment, the terrifying power of Shura rose up and directly shot Chu Ye's body into the air hundreds of meters away. Is this the move that god of killing can borrow the power of Shura on his own? Chu Ye's expression was very solemn, because he had already felt the strong power of Shura, which was very powerful. But Chu Ye also knew that as long as he could withstand this last blow, god of killing would have no power to resist. The victory or defeat depended on this one move. A huge red light and shadow appeared behind god of killing. It could be vaguely seen that the tall red shadow of the man was god of Shura. He was wearing red armor all over his body, and the blood-colored light wheel behind him was shining, bursting out with unparalleled powerful mystery. At this moment, the eyes of the god of death were full of pious light, and the whole person was like the most loyal believer. The terrifying power of Shura god, attached to the body of the god of death, accompanied by the sword of the god of death, swung out a terrifying swing. No one can stop the power of the Lord, this sword, I want you to die. I want you to die. The voice of the boundless anger of the god of death echoed the world. This guy Shura god, actually helped secretly again. Life and kindness were very angry in their hearts, looking at Shura god. How could they not see that the original move of the god of death to use Shura to possess and borrow the power of Shura god was not so strong at all? But the power used by the god of death now far exceeded their cognition, and I am afraid that even a first-level god may be killed with one move. Brother Chu Ye, be careful. This guy's Shura power is no longer what he can borrow. The god of fire reminded in a hurry. Although he didn't say it very bluntly, he made that meaning clear. It means that Shura god is making a move again. God Shura, you have repeatedly interfered in my battles and wanted to put me to death. Well, I, Chu Ye, swear that one day I will pull your men down from the altar. Chu Ye was extremely angry. But for the current situation, he still had a way to resist and planned in his mind. At this moment, he once again took out one of the 6 great artifacts of the king, the moon god. Hey! What is that? Scepter. Artifact. The thing that kid took out must be at least at the artifact level. Can that thing resist the move of the god of death? Impossible. The gods exclaimed. Moon god guardian. Chu Ye decisively activated the exclusive skill of the moon god, and golden light flashed instantly. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 449. Behead. Kill the god. Chu Ye. Who else refuses to obey? The moon goddess's protection, an invincible defensive golden body skill. With Chu Ye's current power, he could resist even the attack of a God King level warrior, not to mention the attack of a mere level 2 god, the god of killing who borrowed some of the power of Shura. With Shura's possession and the power of Shura, the god of killing sword was powerful enough to force a level 1 god to resist with all his strength, but it was easily blocked by Chu Ye's moon goddess's weapon. Bang! Boom boom boom. The terrifying attack power was completely blocked by the moon goddess. The power of the moon goddess protection directly turned Chu Ye's body into a golden body without hurting him at all. Fuck. Blocked. Blocked. He really blocked the strongest attack of the god of death with the Shura possession. How is it possible? How is it possible? He is just a mortal, but he actually possesses such a divine weapon. What kind of powerful divine weapon is this? It seems that no matter how powerful the force is, it cannot be broken. It's over. It's over. The god of death is over. The gods were completely stunned and powerless. They all understood that the god of death's mood could not kill Chu Ye, so next, the god of death would definitely die and would no longer have the power to resist Chu Ye. The 5 Shura gods were also shocked by the defensive power emitted by the moon god. Because they could feel that even if they used a powerful attack, they would probably not be able to break the moon god's defense. That feeling seemed to be an invincible defensive ability. How could it be? How could it be like this? Even the Shura possession, even the power of the Lord, can't kill you. Why? Why can't you be killed? The god of death completely collapsed, suffered a lot, and his spirit of gratitude was abnormal. God of death, now is your death. Chu Ye's body floated in the sky, looking down at the god of death below. His voice, full of boundless killing intent and coldness, echoed in the dual field and in the ears of the god of death, as if shocking his heart and soul. At this moment, the god of death had already felt a deep fear of Chu Ye from the bottom of his heart, a fear that went deep into his bones. He looked at Chu Ye with eyes that looked like the god of death who was about to take his life. The god of death was left with only panic and fear. No, no. Die. Chu Ye's boundless anger sounded again. The next second. Puff. Ah. The god of death's right leg was also cut off by Chu Ye on the spot. At this point, the god of death's arms were completely broken, and one leg was broken, leaving only the last leg. I will defeat you. Tear you apart. I will knock you down. I will knock down all those who block my way. I will knock you all down. No one can stop me. Puff. 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 Ah. The extremely miserable screams of the god of killing rang out one after another, and Chu Ye began to slash at the body of the god of killing crazily. He could actually kill the god of killing directly, but Chu Ye would not let him die so easily. He wanted to make this god of killing pay a heavy price. Puff. 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 Ah. Chu Ye slashed crazily, from the upper body to the lower body, from the ground to the sky, and from the sky to the ground, with dozens of swords per second. During this process, the god of killing's blood spurted out continuously, and each sword cut deep into the flesh and blood. It was miserable. In just a few minutes, the god of killing was slashed by Chu Ye's swords thousands of times, and almost every part of his body was covered with wounds, all sword wounds, and even many places were chopped up. No part of his skin and flesh was intact. Kill me. Kill me. The god of killing was almost torn apart by the torture, and was about to cry, "It hurts. It hurts so much, so desperate. I want to die but can't. Kill you? That's not enough. This is far from enough." Chu Ye looked fierce, and he took back the sword of god and demon directly, and used his fists to pound the god of killing. Using fists to hit him can express the anger and rage from the bottom of his heart. Chu Ye was going crazy, and pressed the god of killing to the ground, screaming wildly and punching wildly. Then he changed to slapping the god of killing in the face. Pa 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 pa. The god of killing no longer had the strength to scream, and was beaten to death. Don't. Freshness kept flowing out of the god of killing's mouth, and he was extremely weak, and said with his dying breath, a soldier can be killed, but not humiliated. You, stop. Bang. Chu Ye stepped on the face of the god of killing and stomped his head hard on the ground. I'm going to humiliate you, what can you do to me? Chu Ye stomped on the head of the god of killing again, pulled his foot back, paused for a moment, and then punched the face of the god of killing again. Die. 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 Bang. Bang. Chu Ye pinched the neck of the god of killing with one hand, and with the other hand, he punched the face of the god of killing one punch after another, each punch heavier than the last. After 3 punches, The face of the god of killing was already bloody and blurred by Chu Ye's fists. Go to hell. Go to hell. Chu Ye burst out all his strength with the last punch, bang. Puff. This last punch blew up the head of the god of killing on the spot. At this moment, the god of killing was completely dead. A powerful second-level god of a generation, the strongest and most powerful of the second-level gods, died in Chu Ye's hands like this, and was beaten to death by Chu Ye's ruthless punch. Chu Ye stopped punching, and stood up from the ground bit by bit while panting heavily. The whole place was extremely quiet, and there was no sound for a moment. Every second-level god or third-level god had an extremely panicked, fearful, and dreadful look on their faces. They looked at Chu Ye and the miserable death of the god of killing, and were all scared. Too fierce. This kid is too fierce. The gods were completely terrified and terrified. Every god dared not look directly at Chu Ye at this moment. He was like a demon, terrifying. Chu Ye staggered to his feet, panting loudly. The last wave of crazy killing gods had exhausted him. He supported his knees, panted loudly for a few times, and then slowly raised his head. When Chu Ye raised his head, those gods who wanted to see Chu Ye die almost all lowered their heads collectively. They did not dare to raise their heads and look directly at Chu Ye. Chu Ye looked around, his eyes were full of ferocity, as if he wanted to eat someone. He roared loudly. Who else? Who else refuses to obey? Come down. Keep coming. I will defeat you one by one. I will knock you down one by one. Who else wants to die? Come down. Chu Ye's aura was too terrifying now, and his momentum directly crushed all the gods present, and they were completely suppressed. Chapter 450. The next opponent, the 7 deadly sins. No god dared to think of challenging again, and no god dared to look directly at Chu Ye's eyes. They all lowered their heads, and the whole place was silent. No god dared to say a word, just like a group of turtles hiding on the stage and trembling, but dared not show any expression. They were completely defeated. A bunch of trash. Didn't you scream fiercely just now? Ah. What's wrong now? Are you all too scared to come up? If you don't accept it, keep coming. No matter how Chu Ye ridiculed, no god refuted or said a word. They were completely defeated and beaten down. Are you kidding? The god of killing has been killed. Wouldn't they go up and die? Hehe, you were a group of spineless trash, you were not worthy at fighting with me. Since no one dares to come up, I have won the level of the god of destruction, right? Chu Ye slowly looked at the god of destruction. At this moment, the faces of the god of destruction and the god of Shura were very ugly, but they quickly adjusted their expressions and emotions. The god of destruction sneered. Hehe, since no second-level god or third-level god dares to stand up again, you have naturally made it to this level. But kid, don't be too happy too soon. The opponents you will face next will be the 7 original Sin gods under my seat. They are all first-level gods. With the power you have shown now, any of them can defeat you. Remember, I only give you 2 days and 14 hours now. Hectares, let me see how far you can go. After the god of destruction finished speaking, he left here first. He said that although he pretended to be calm, he was very unhappy in his heart. Shura god glanced at him coldly, and Chu Ye left with him. At this time, Chu Ye's next opponent, the 7 original Sin gods, also stood up collectively from the spectator seats. The 7 of them gathered together and looked at Chu Ye on the duel field. The next second, all 7 of them appeared in front of Chu Ye at the same time, exuding a strong sense of oppression from head to toe. The pressure of 7 first-level gods releasing their power at the same time made Chu Ye, who was already very tired, feel a huge pressure. At this time, the 7 elemental gods, Qian Renxue, and Bai Bai Dong, appeared in time to block Chu Ye and counter the pressure of the 7 original Sin gods. Hey, 7 original Sins, what do you want to do? The god of fire stood in the middle of the crowd, with his hands on his chest, and said domineeringly. Hehe, god of fire, don't get excited, we just want to have a chat with this kid. The god of pride said very arrogantly. I advise you not to try to do anything to him. When it's your turn to fight, it's up to you. The god of fire was very tough, looking like he was watching Chu Ye. The 7 original Sin gods did want to teach Chu Ye a little lesson before Chu Ye challenged them, but seeing that there were 7 elemental gods escorting them, the 7 original Sin gods did not mess around anymore. The god realm, the 7 elemental gods, and the 7 original Sin gods are all huge groups among the first-level gods. They basically exist as a team, and the team's strength is very good. 7 people can fight against the powerful God King together, and they have the combined magic skills of 7 people, which is very strong. The strength of the 7 elemental gods and the 7 original Sing gods is actually similar, some are strong and some are weak. The relationship between these two 7 god teams is not very good at ordinary times, and they are not very compatible. But there has never been any major friction, and basically, they don't interfere with each other. But now, there is an obvious sense of conflict. Seeing this, Chu Ye took the initiative to step forward and came in front of the God of Fire. "Brother God of Fire, let me handle it." Chu Ye patted the God of Fire on the shoulder, looked at the 7 powerful gods of original sin in front of him, and said calmly, "Everyone, what do you want to talk to me about?" "Hehe, nothing else. Boy, originally we thought that we didn't need to do anything to defeat you, but the result was quite unexpected. Your strength is also amazing. You are still qualified to be our opponent. We are looking forward to fighting with you in 3 days, hehe. I hope you don't be too unbearable. Hehe." The 7 gods of original sin were extremely confident and arrogant. After a few ridicules, they were ready to turn around and leave collectively. But at this time, Chu Ye's voice suddenly sounded behind them. "Am I qualified to be your opponent? But for me, my real opponent has always been a god of destruction. 7 of you, you are just a stepping stone for me to step onto the final battlefield. Everyone, don't be easily defeated by me when the time comes." The 7 gods of original sin all stopped in an instant, and the expressions on their faces turned gloomy and ugly with their backs to Chu Ye. Compared with ridicule, Chu Ye has never been weak. This wave directly pulled the 7 gods of original sin to the maximum. "What did you say?" The god of wrath turned around with an angry face. "Boy, you are really arrogant and ignorant. I will beat you to death when the time comes. Don't think that you have the ability to compete with our first-level gods just because you defeated the god of killing." Wrath was enraged on the spot. Chu Ye shook his head and smiled in his heart. The god of wrath is worthy at being the god of wrath. He was so easily enraged by me. The god of laziness. He said lazily. Okay, anger, we don't need to argue with him here. Young man, you should take care of yourself. It will not do you any good to anger us. We will be waiting for you here in 3 days. Now that the 7 elemental gods are here to protect them, it will be useless for them to talk to Chu Ye. When the time comes, they will just defeat him in that duel field. The next second, the 7 original Sing gods disappeared quickly and left here. The god of fire turned to Chu Ye and said proudly, "Brother Chu Ye, don't worry. With us here, those 7 guys will not be able to hurt you at all during this period." "Thank you, brother god of fire," Chu Ye said gratefully. "Oh, thank you is too polite." The fire god patted his shoulder with a generous look, very happy and curious. "But you were really amazing. You actually have such a powerful defensive artifact in your hand. I'm really curious now. Do you have any hidden cards? Come on, tell me what you were capable of." At this stage, it is not a wise behavior to reveal all your cards to others. Although Chu Ye believes that the fire god will not betray him, the more people know, the easier it is to leak. The fire god may not say it, but it may be known by others under other circumstances. After all, there are too many gods in the god realm who have all kinds of strange and magical powers. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.